What's good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the What's Good Games podcast, your source for video game news, commentary, analysis, and funny stuff every Friday. I'm your host, Andrea Renee, joined by Miss Brittany Brombacher.
Oi, Gov.
And joining us, our very special guest, Marissa Roberto, is here.
What's up, ladies?
I'm so glad we finally got you on the show. Thank you so much for making time to chat with us this week.
Of course, my favorite ladies in the whole wide world. Are you serious? Of course I'm going to join you. Just anytime, have me, baby. We'll have drinks. We'll have chats. Let's do this.
I miss you desperately. I know you're up in Canada. You're in Toronto, correct?
Yes, I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Feels so far away.
I know. I'm so far away. I feel so far removed from all of you. But Andrea, like, you were one of the first ladies to actually be kind to me in the States. Like, you were so sweet and welcoming. Yes, seriously. Well, because I would go there sometimes. Like, I did E3 stuff. It just like I'm always on the outside looking in, though, because I live in Canada, right? So we're just kind of in this little bubble doing our own thing. And then we go there. We're not part of like any kind of scene there, I guess, per se. So like we go to different events, but like you don't really know people. You just know like your crew. So of course I knew like Victor Lucas and Jose and Ben Silverman and those boys because I worked with them here. But then I just remember meeting you, and you were just so kind and sweet and welcoming, and it was just like so strange for me in the moment because up until that point I didn't really have any women in the industry that were as welcoming, I guess, to me. So I don't know, you always have a soft spot in my heart, babe. Like, it's just always you.
You're giving me all the feels right now.
Come on, it is.
That's
always
so
you.
kind
always
of
just
you.
Been,
So she's of course talking about her
lady.
Electric Playground crew for people who might not have picked that up. That's where we first met. But
When was that?
What was that?
What? Well, when? What year?
Oh, when? I was
Oh,
going to say,
God.
oh my gosh, you don't know about the legendary EP?
Oh, yeah.
That was, I don't know, I would guess like 5 years ago now. We probably
sounds
met.
about right.
And I don't know, we hung out in Vegas for Sony's first PlayStation experience.
Oh yes, that was such a good PSX.
Yes, and you introduced me to Old Vegas because I had never been.
So fun. We went down to Fremont Street and went
Yes,
to the really cheap blackjack spots.
Oh yeah, it brought me to like the seedy world of Vegas, where it's like it was kind of sad because like you're in just the strip Vegas, and strip Vegas is like, you know, sexy ladies serving drinks, and you have like a minimum $5 buy-in. But then you go to Old Vegas, it's like minimum $2 or $3 buy-in, and like I feel like that's where all the ladies, like all ladies that were serving in nice Vegas, go to retire, and they're just kind of there. And it was a little like it was kind of really sad for me, but it was still fun.
Yeah,
we played.
Well, it was super casual. I think we just needed a little break because that was inside the Venetian, if I remember correctly, at the Sands Convention Center. I'm not sure if that's the name of it, but I remember not leaving for like a couple days in a row and be like, I gotta get out of the building and get some fresh air.
Yes, we definitely had a time. I don't know if I recovered. Oh no, that was the night also. Just name dropping here, of course, but like Nick Chester. Also met him for the first time. Yes, friend of the show, Nick Chester. We had a Taylor Swift dance party in his hotel room.
Oh,
no, it wasn't just me and him. It was like a bunch of people, like full on Taylor Swift till like 4 in the morning.
That sounds amazing.
He's always a good time. Always DTP, down to party. For folks who are maybe wondering where Steimer is this week, she's on vacation, so she's relaxing with her parents over in Florida, and so we're wishing her well, and so glad that Marissa could step in and say, you know what, time to bring some additional girl power to the table.
Well, you guys need to balance it out with a brunette, right? Like you can't just have
It can't just be,
without a brunette.
We need our stand-in brunette.
Thank you.
And there we go.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Listen, you are more than welcome whenever you are done doing the million things that you do. If you want to become part of What's Good Games, you and I should talk. I would love to have you.
I'm around. I'm down whenever, baby. You know it. I love you ladies so much. But yeah, I mean, you know how it is. You just got to be out there hustling.
Absolutely.
Just taking the gigs when you can get them and just, living this life. Trying to anyway.
Exactly. And we're going to talk more about what Marissa has been up to and the studio that she's at right now a little bit later on in the show. But we have got a ton of news to get to in the top of the show. But before we get to that, we have a few announcements that we want to go over. As a reminder, if you're listening to the show, PAX East is underway. Our amazing panel has already happened. And if all
Hopefully
goes
it
according to
wasn't
plan,
garbage.
I have successfully recorded the podcast from the panel, and it will be going live next week. My
So what
fingers are
attempt is
crossed.
this?
This is attempt number 3.
Okay.
So third time's a charm?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I hope
I
so.
love the optimism.
Marissa, the last time I tried to record our PAX panel, the batteries in my recorder died because I brought
that's nice.
I brought the cable with, but then I left it in the hotel room, and then I was like, crap, I'm out of time. I don't have time to go back. And John's like,
the
I can go
Tascam?
back and get it because he's superhero number 1. And then I was like, nah, it'll be fine. The batteries will last. The batteries did not last.
Oh no, God no! Especially like I have a Tascam. I try to do the same thing. The battery literally goes like that. There's
Yeah,
no point.
it was a
it's
Zoom.
like honestly like
Yeah.
a Game Gear. It's like a Game Gear,
Game Gear.
just straight up.
The
That's a good
batteries,
analogy.
yeah, we're not good. So I'm bringing the cables. I'm bringing extra cables. I'm bringing extension cords. I'm bringing our brand new Rodecaster Pro, which I'm really excited
Hey.
about. A piece of equipment that Danny Pino over at Gamertag Radio showed to me, and that John had his eye on for a while because he's kind of always lusting after new tech gear. So hopefully you guys will be able to listen to our What's Good Games Live panel. Don't forget, if you are in the Boston area and it is not yet Saturday, March 30th, you can come meet us at King's Entertainment and Dining at 2 p.m. for our What's Good Games meetup. We're going to have some snacks. Some of those snacks may include pizza. If you want to see if I'm actually telling the truth, you're going to have to come on down.
Yeah.
So-
we may or may not have food. It
Yeah.
might be delicious.
And it's our first all ages event, so we're very excited about that. It's in the afternoon, and you don't need a PAX badge to get in. So anybody is welcome. But if you are going to imbibe in adult beverages, you do need to bring your valid ID because, laws are important.
Wait, is this a segue to talk about adult beverages or not yet?
Yes, it is, of course.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
No,
Okay.
because I brought liquor to the studio because I knew I was going to be talking to you ladies. But I have
And
to drive
apparently
later,
our
so I have to keep
reputation as
it.
drunks has gotten around.
That's basically why I agreed to be on the show. Okay, so I brought something that I'm addicted to lately. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what, but I'll often get home from work and just like put a couple of rocks in a glass and pour a little tequila rose. And it's
So
I-
what is this?
I freaked out when she brought it in. So, Brittany, so it says strawberry cream on there. So tequila
Yeah.
rose is one of those drinks that you start drinking when you're first starting out with alcohol because it barely tastes like booze. It tastes literally like strawberry milkshake.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
How have I never heard of this?
I don't know why I didn't think to buy it. Probably because I don't venture into that section.
Oh,
it
yeah, it looks like
good.
strawberry
now
milk.
I want one.
It's
I'll buy a bottle
lovely.
for the studio. What's great about it is that you really just put ice into it. That's it. You don't mix anything else with it. It's a liqueur, and it has lower alcohol content, so you can drink more
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, 15%. 15%.
Yeah. So like a strong glass of wine or like a Bailey's or any other kind of schnapps. And it's delicious. And I am inspired that you picked this choice.
Wait,
Inspired.
are you guys also drinking?
I have a whiskey coming.
Okay.
You see, when I'm on the show like this, my husband is my runner, but I think
Okay.
he's currently addicted to Command and Conquer Rivals. So who knows when he'll see my text message?
Listen, he's not doing anything. He'll be fine. I'm currently drinking out of my new espresso pot.
Oh, nice.
From
Mocha
our
pot, love
first
it.
sponsor that we're actually going to talk about because I'm like so addicted to it. But I will
wanna hear
get
about
a
it.
drink for the second segment of the show because I don't want to leave you hanging.
Okay.
And I have
Thank
a
you.
big old growler of water.
Yeah, it is morning here.
water
Don't
too.
forget.
Oh, right.
It's never stopped us
It's
before,
literally
Andrea.
never stopped us before. Also,
Yeah,
this mug,
don't-
can you put it actually in front of you so
This
they can
is
see?
my-
Oh my God, that is adorable. Also,
This
it's
is my
gigantic.
baby.
Is that like 40 ounces? It's huge.
Well, this is just my daily intake of water. I only drink this
Okay.
mug's worth and nothing more.
Oh, wow. At least you drink at least that much. So for people who are listening, Marissa is holding up a gigantic Wonder Woman mug that is
My
really
baby.
cute. It's got the blue with the white stars at the bottom and, of course, the red and the yellow logo at the
Yeah.
top. And it's literally as big as her face. It's
She gives me
Exactly.
power.
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
literally. So those are the announcements that we have going. And as a reminder, we have the secret segment. The final secret segment in the old Patreon tier is now up, I believe.
Yes.
On Patreon.
Yeah,
so if you
girl.
guys want to check it out, we finally bit the bullet and made a video explaining how we all met and how What's Good Games got started. It is by far the most common question that we get like time after time. And so we've been meaning to make a video to point to people for a long time and just never got around to it. So it's exclusive to Patreon for now, and then it will go public for everybody later next month. So keep your eye out for that if you are interested. But
We also, real quick,
yes, go
I want
ahead.
to say we talked about how Steimer was in Florida with her family. She actually uploaded a Patreon exclusive vlog talking about her time in Florida with her family. Actually, no, she just talks about how tired she is, but that's okay. That's also on
And her
patreon.com/what's
skin
good
always
games
looks
right
amazing.
now.
It's not fair.
Oh, I know. She's just like totally barefaced, hair pulled back. I'm like, why do you look this gorgeous? It's just like, get out of here.
And it's
Whatever.
that skincare fridge, man. She keeps all
I
of her
know.
product on point.
Is that right?
Anyway.
She keeps it in the fridge?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
she
oh
has
yeah.
a little mini fridge that's just for skincare.
Okay, I need to get on that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't realize I was supposed to be refrigerating my skincare either. And she gave me this whole diatribe about how bad it is that I'm spending so much money on skincare and then not refrigerating it properly, and that all of the
Okay.
active ingredients are like destabilizing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so nervous about it
Yeah.
now.
And she has it in her bedroom, and that's cool. But I feel like if I had a mini fridge in my bedroom, I would use it for food and or alcohol. I feel like it would not.
100.
It would devolve into
It
a
would just
chaotic
be
mess.
full of those little mini bottles of tequila rose.
My little mini bar. Hell yeah.
Oh my God, yes, this is inspiring me. I want all of these things. And it reminds me of that Seinfeld episode where like George he flies too close to the sun on wings of pastrami because he tries to mix in food with sex. So I feel like if we have that too close to our beds, things might happen.
Yeah.
My
This is
friend
true.
And then
is
we'll
here.
fly too close to the sun on wings of pastrami, you feel? Oh, she's got, what is that?
That's Maker's Mark.
Okay.
It's early. I'm drinking whiskey straight. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's
I
great.
don't, honestly, Brittany, I don't get your whiskey thing though. I cannot get into whiskey at all. Like,
I remember when
tried.
you and I had dinner that one time. I don't know if it was at
Yeah.
GDC or you were in town for an event. We were
Mm-hmm.
at the Tapas Bar near the Moscone Convention Center. And you were like, you had said this, that you were trying to get into whiskey. And I was like, you should
Yes.
start with an old fashioned because they're like a nice, like sugary drink that's still pretty spirit forward. And you were
Yeah.
just like, nah, whiskey sour is also
It-
another good way to get into whiskey.
Yeah, I have tried, but the thing is, it's not cool if you don't drink it straight or with like
Yeah.
one rock. You know what I mean? Like you can't mix other things into it, or else you're
Yes, you
just kind of. Can I swear?
A classic Jameson ginger? That's a staple
No,
drink.
no, you can't. Listen, I'm at the point now in my life, except for Tequila Rose, where I really just like alcohol straight. Like I just love a gin martini, just
Ooh,
straight up gin.
classic.
It's just my drink of choice. But I can only do the clear liquors. I've been trending to the brown because I feel like you don't want to mess with a girl who drinks brown liquor.
Yeah. That's right.
That's
You
true.
know.
Yeah.
So
Very
I'm
true.
a little scared of Brittany is basically what I'm saying.
No, don't be. Promise. Just don't piss me off, Marissa, and you'll be fine.
That's exactly what I mean.
Okay.
I'm scared. Drink my
all right.
milk drink.
As much as I want to keep talking about alcohol, I am going to push
mean-
the show forward and talk about our first sponsor. And thank you so much to all of our sponsors for the show, Bespoke Post, Goat, and Stitch Fix for supporting What's Good Games. And first up, we've got an offer from Bespoke Post. So when you're constantly on the go, grinding away at the office or hanging out with friends, there's not much time to think about upgrading your style or apartment. And that's why we love getting a new box of awesome from Bespoke Post every month. These guys are out scouting for quality, unique products to send in each box, and now you can experience it too at boxofawesome.com. I recently got my crema box, which I just showed you guys, and it taught me how to make espresso, and it came with these two little adorable espresso cups. So if you guys are watching the video at youtube.com/whatsgoodgames, it literally came with its own like mini saucer and its own little spoon.
It's really
and
cute.
I'm kind of dying a little bit inside about how cute it is because it makes me feel like I'm at an actual restaurant. And I even put like a little Girl Scout cookie on it to make myself feel better.
Oh my God. It's amazing.
If you guys want to get started, you have to visit boxofawesome.com and just answer a few short questions that will help them get a feel for the boxes that go best with your style. Whether you're in search of the perfect drink, a well-kept pad, or jet setting in style, Bespoke Post improves your life one box at a time. Each box goes for under $50, but has more than $70 worth of unique gear waiting inside for you. And at the first of each month, you're going to receive an email with your box details. Then you'll have 5 days to change colors and sizes or add extra goods to your box. And if you're not feeling that month's selection, simply skip it. From barrel aging kits to limited edition cigars, weekender bags to classy DOP kits, Bespoke Post offers essential goods and guidance for the modern person. To receive 20% off your first subscription box, go to boxofawesome.com and enter the code What's Good at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code What's Good for 20% off your first Bespoke Post themed boxes for folks that give a damn.
Yeah, and I give a damn, Andrea.
Yeah.
I also give a damn.
Good. Give dams. I learned how to make espresso. I was like, what's the difference between espresso and coffee? Because let's be honest, I had no actual idea. I just thought espresso was stronger coffee. And it
Same.
really... Wait, what? Sorry,
that
does you have
real?
a question? Yeah, no,
No,
it's- so you
okay,
can
I'm
have
confused.
coffee beans designed or are roasted specifically for espresso, but it has more to do with the fine grain of when you grind the beans, and more importantly, the amount of pressure the beans are under when the water is pulled through them. So I learned that coffee has the water sit on the beans for a longer period of time when you do like a pour over or a traditional drip, whereas espresso like kind of like speed pulls the water through the beans under high pressure, and so it changes the density and the flavor of the coffee. And I was like, it like blew my tiny mind a little bit.
But also, like, if you're just drinking espresso, there is less caffeine in espresso than drip coffee. So
Yes.
if you notice when you go to Starbucks or, you know, your local whatever, or just brewing from home, like, if you have a drip coffee, I get the shakes. Like, I'll fully feel the drip coffee caffeine versus my espresso that I must have every single day.
That's very interesting. You must get better espresso there than we do here. I have yet to find a coffee shop that does a proper espresso in the United States.
I mean, we don't have, Italy style, you know, by the side of the road, just pull up to the Autostrad and grab your espresso and enjoy your life. It's more just like, you know, your basic Starbucks. I go to there's lots of little boutique coffee shops here too, like especially in my area, that have really nice like dark beans where you just like taste every ounce of the coffee you're drinking. I'm in love with coffee, so like it's like a daily. But honestly, if I'm just being real with you, it's my daily Starbucks. That's all I get.
I mean, you're not
It's just
alone.
easy.
There's millions of us, okay?
I know, it's just easy. And somebody at a gig recently, they were talking about Tim Hortons because Tim Hortons is like, you know, Canada's Tim Hortons. But I'm not really a fan of the coffee here, so it makes me a bad Canadian. And then somebody called me out on stream like, no, you seem like a Starbucks girl. I'm like, what? Well,
What does that even
what is that
mean?
supposed to mean?
Oh.
I know.
Is
Like,
that
what
an
is that supposed to
insult?
mean?
Should I be upset about this? Like, what's happening?
I know. I felt mildly insulted. So, you know,
So, like,
cheers to all the
you-
Starbucks girls out there.
So you can't get into bourbon. I can't get into coffee. I absolutely
Oh.
detest the taste of coffee. Yeah,
It's like our tongues are completely different. Like the polar
exactly.
opposites.
Makes my butt pucker. Can't handle it.
Makes my butt pucker, she said. Well, listen, someday, Britt, I will get you a really sugary coffee drink, and then
Perfect.
maybe it'll change your mind.
Yeah, sure. As long as I can't taste the coffee, I'll like it.
But do you drink tea? Like, how do you ingest caffeine?
She's on that 5-hour energy life.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm not proud, and I'm even trying to cut back on that. But I'm trying to get into what's it called, Andrew? Kombucha,
Oh, God.
whatever.
Kombucha?
Yeah, but that also tastes like shit. So
Why would you? Okay, that's fine. You're not
Anyway.
going to tell people to drink kombucha. I guess it's better for your gut.
Yeah, it doesn't
True.
taste like coffee, so it's a win in my book.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Lots of sugar though.
Speaking of coffee,
Oh.
man, that's a terrible segue, Andrea. Time for
She
the
got
news,
desperate.
because there's so much news. We're gonna have to kind of run through it a little bit here.
Okay.
So, if you guys did not see that PlayStation had their very first State of Play this week, boy oh boy, do we have a bunch of announcements for you. It's really mostly PlayStation VR related, but I'm just going to read the headlines really quick and then we'll dive into a couple of these topics individually. So they started the show with Marvel's Iron Man VR arriving in 2019 for PlayStation VR. Going retro, creating PS4 exclusive content for CTR Nitro Fueled. No Man's Sky gets a full PlayStation VR support this summer. Introducing Ready Set Heroes, a fast-paced twist on dungeon crawling. PSVR blockbuster Blood and Truth is launching on May 28th. PSVR, the next wave of games coming in spring and summer. I have a whole list for you in just a second. Observation flips the perspective on sci-fi adventures, out on PS4 this May. That, of course, is Devolver's game. Five Nights at Freddy's VR, which I know Brittany's excited about. Help Wanted is coming to PSVR as well. And then we get a first look at Concrete Genie's story trailer and a release date of fall 2019. We get a new look at Days Gone, which, of course, is coming out in just a couple of weeks on April 26th. And then they ended the show with how past meets present in Mortal Kombat 11. One of my favorite trailers ever.
Yeah.
And I know it's super divisive because you either love what they did with the music and are into it, or you hated it. But I loved it.
I loved
I
it.
was on the love bandwagon for sure. Oh my gosh, that was the best trailer they've released thus far.
Yeah, I was just
and I
like
had never been into
grooving when I was
Mortal.
watching. I was like, heck yeah, this is awesome.
Oh my God, love it because it had that Shoop backtrack, right? Because we all love Shoop, we all love Salt and Pepper. And then we just got some dirty beats. Like it was just a couple of rhymes in there. Plus, normally I hate Mortal Kombat trailers because I can't get into the gore and violence. I've tried. It's just too much for me. I can't handle it. But for some reason, I was really into this one. And I don't know if it's because of the music.
That's all you need to do is play it and just play the music in the background when you're home, and then you'll totally love it.
Just put on some like old school Salt and Pepper and then just like
Yeah.
turn the music off in the game. They also very strategically cut this Mortal Kombat footage to not make it overly gruesome.
Yes.
Because it was appearing in the PlayStation State of Play. So I'm sure that they went to NetherRealm and Warner Brothers and were like, listen, we know it's going to be gory. It's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But like try to make it not super gory, like no eyeballs popping out of somebody's face maybe.
Just like a decapitation, and that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, just a cool decapitation. It's all good.
Right,
but then
but
his
then he
head
came back to
then his head
life.
his head came back on because who are these weird time traveling villains anyway? It's wild.
No, I can't. Are you guys into the Mortal Kombat series?
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Oh yes, definitely.
Andrea is. I'm new. I've been familiar with it, but I've never actually just picked one up and played it, like legitimately played it. But I'm really interested in this one, and that trailer actually got me even more hyped than what I was before. So hey, it did its job.
It's just so funny to me because Ed Boon seems like the nicest guy in the world, like super sweet man, like doesn't think about gory things at all. But then he makes these monstrous, gory masterpieces that are so like far beyond the reaches of my imagination when it comes to gore. It's just so crazy to think of a man so sweet making something so bloody.
Maybe that's just his outlet though, and because I've interviewed Ed several times over the course of my career, and he is a very sweet, like very kind person, and so maybe he just channels all of his anger at life into the game, and we all get to reap the benefit.
I need some eyeballs popping. I'm angry.
I need some
Just like the
intestines
spine
just slowly
getting
falling
pulled
out of the
out,
body.
like, ooh.
But that
good.
game is also coming out in just a couple of weeks as well.
Yeah.
So right around the corner. Very pumped to get some hands on. Also, this weekend is the closed beta for Mortal Kombat 11, which is happening. We also got a first look at Jax. So I'm hoping that I'll get a chance to get some hands-on time with it. I'm actually not sure if they're showing it at PAX, but I'm going to bring my PS4 with so I can at least play an hour or two. So Brittany, if you want to come by.
Oh yeah.
We could set it, or we could just set it up in the lobby of the West End and just see who
That
wants
sounds
to
good.
roll by and play.
Can you play Christina Aguilera's "Come On Over" song before you beckon me, though?
Yes, I can.
Cool.
Since you
Wait,
asked,
is that your walk-up track?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Come on over. Let's do it.
all right, let me read some of these games that are coming to PSVR. So we've got Skyworld, Falcon Age, Ghost Giant, Table of Tales, Jupiter and Mars, Everybody's Golf, Blood and Truth, which is the same studio that made London Heist, which was in the original PlayStation demo disc, which was really fun. Trover Saves the Universe, Mini Mech Mayhem, and Vacation Simulator. Plus Five Nights at Freddy's, which we'll talk about in a second, Golem, Luna, and No Man's Sky Beyond. So before we get to Five Nights in No Man's Sky, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Trover Saves the Universe and the hands-on I had with it in the next segment because I got to play the new build at GDC. But hopefully you guys got a chance to catch the Squanch Games panel from the main stage at PAX. If you didn't, it should be on PAX's Twitch channel in the archives. I hope it goes well. I hope it was awesome and really fun.
It's going to be good.
I'm sure it was.
But that game is wild. Marissa, do you know anything about Trover?
I don't. Tell me about it.
So imagine do you ever watch Rick and Morty?
Yes, of course.
So it's from Justin Roiland, the creator of Rick and Morty. This is his game, and it's designed for PlayStation VR, but you can play it flat as well if you don't have a VR headset. And it's that same art style, and you play this person like in a chair, like in a command chair, and then you control Trover, and so you're in a fixed position, which I love, and then Trover just like runs around in the world. And what I love about it is that it's so on the nose that they're constantly calling out things and breaking the fourth wall. Like, hey, you, what are you doing over there in the bushes? Stop looking over there in the bushes. There's nothing to find over there. The checkpoint's over
I think
here.
I played a VR version. They made a game already, right? Where they're an accountant or something? You're an accountant.
You're thinking
think
about
they
Accounting Plus.
Maybe.
Maybe?
But it was the same, it could be the same creators where I felt like all I was doing, somebody was just shouting at me the whole time. Like, hey, don't pick that up. Hey, don't go over there. No, don't touch that. No, don't you do it. Don't you open that drawer. Like a lot of that.
That
a lot of
sounds
teasing.
familiar. So
Yeah.
the other thing that Squanch has done is Dr. Splorchy presents
Okay.
Space Heroes, but they have done Accounting Plus as well, yes.
Yes, okay. That's the one I
So,
tried.
It's funny, and it's probably the most swearing I've ever heard in a video game ever.
Oh my God.
It's super
Say no
vulgar.
more.
If you thought South Park: The Stick of Truth or The Fractured Butthole was vulgar, man, prepare
Oh,
yourself
God.
for.
I only
Trover
played that
Saves the
game for like
Universe.
the pooping mini game, basically. It's like when else do you get to poop?
in a video
in a
game.
game.
In a
Yeah.
game.
That's a
Yeah.
good
And
question.
talk about it openly.
Yeah. There you
These
go.
are the questions of our time. But I'll save any further thoughts on Trover until the next segment. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. Of course, this is Steel Wool. It's a collection classic of original mini games set in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. You can use the DualShock 4 or 2 PS Move controllers to interact with the door and light controls in the office, pick up objects in the repair games, press buttons on the video switcher, solve puzzles, or activate your flashlight. It's the iconic locations that have been recreated in full 3D and optimized for virtual reality. Of course, survive the night in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Security Office, hide from Springtrap and Fazbear's Fright, repair vents in the depths of Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental. And for the truly brave, face your worst nightmares in the child's bedroom. It's a single-player game, of course, and there's nothing better than taking turns laughing at the terrified reactions of your friends and family. So I fully
that's why I'm excited.
Yeah, I fully anticipate this being something we stream at some point.
Yeah, so here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. At GDC, Steimer had been lusting over some shoes. She's like, I want these shoes. She's like, I just can't bring myself to buy them. I'm like, we're going to make a deal right now. I'm going to buy you these shoes, and in turn, you have to play scary games that I want you to play. And then the heavens opened up, and luck shined upon me, because then Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted was announced for spring of 2019. So that's absolutely going to be Steimer's first game that I'm going to make her play. Do I want to play this? Hell no. If I'm going to play this... I mean, listen, like, I like torturing myself with horror games, but Five Nights at Freddy's is like a whole new thing. That's like on a whole nother plane of existence that I do not want to go near. But if Andrea feeds me enough whiskey to the point where I'm like almost drunk, we'll talk.
Oh,
Hell no,
yeah.
that game looks horribly scary. I cannot even imagine wanting to jump into the VR version of that game. Are you outside your mind? You're going to do this to Steimer? That's not okay, Brittany. That's an abusive relationship.
Listen, we
Like
made
what
a
you
deal,
just described.
Marissa. We made a deal. We made a deal. And when she's wearing those cute little tiger shoes around, I'm like, you know what that means? That is my contract. I own you for this year. And that's
That
exactly
is,
what's
like,
going to happen.
I'm pretty sure that's the definition of an abusive relationship. But that's fine. We can talk about that later.
We can talk
She's
about
calling
that
you
later.
out. I'm glad I'm not the one that had to do it. But listen,
Well, no,
I
you
want
didn't
to
make
see
the deal
Steimer
with
play
me.
a scary
Steimer
game.
did.
Hey, you know what? We keep talking about bringing back Lights Off. I'm just saying, maybe this year's the year that we bring it back. So Marissa, we did
yeah.
a series for Facebook Watch called Lights Off, where we literally turned the lights off, and we had an infrared camera set up in the dark to capture our reactions as we played scary video games.
Yo, I have to say, you said lights off, and my light that I had on me just turned off. And that is freaking me out.
That is really scary.
Like, I don't.
Five
okay,
Nights at
it's
Freddy's
fine.
is coming for you.
Oh my God. Okay, guys. We need. We need to move on from this. I'm actually
Okay. So let's move on
mildly
to
freaked out right now.
something much more peaceful. No Man's Sky Beyond. So this is
Okay.
from Hello Games. It says, grab the joystick and thruster to fly your starship over an unexplored alien planet as you peer out of the cockpit at the view below. Reach into your backpack to grab your multi-tool, touch it to switch to terrain manipulation, and carve out intricate shapes with unprecedented control. Play in multiplayer and casually wave to your non-VR friends or fist bump your PSVR peers. No Man's Sky VR is not a separate mode, but the entire game brought to life in virtual reality. Anything is possible in No Man's Sky. Next or any other update is ready and waiting as an immersive and enriched VR experience. No Man's Sky VR, like all the parts of Beyond, will be free to existing players. Now that's
That's
the
cool.
cool part, is that they're saying if you already have bought No Man's Sky, you just get this for free. It's included. So
Amazing. But if you have No Man's Sky and you've been playing and you have accrued so many different things and you've invested all this time into it, now do we have to leave that world to go to VR and start all over again? Like
I
that's
don't
my
believe
main
so.
issue.
Because I've
Okay.
seen in several other games that toggle between them that it's really more of just like a visual toggle than it
Okay.
is changing anything in your save files or your game settings.
Okay,
So-
cool. That would change my perspective on it for sure.
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly confident that it's just like a switch.
A toggle, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I think you might be right on that. But no, I'm excited only because, like, God, No Man's Sky has just come so far, and Hello Games could have just completely given up. You know what I mean? Like, they could have just dropped this, moved on, started something new because of the way they were just scorched. And the fact that they've just made these huge strides, and so many people in my office actually are playing it too. They just love it. They squat up, having the best time with No Man's Sky. I'm just like, I'm beyond excited for these guys that they've just stuck it out. That just goes to show you that you just got to stick it out, okay? If things aren't going right, you just try again.
Exactly. And I think
Yeah.
that they've really demonstrated to their community that they were committed to fulfilling their vision. And I think they made right by them despite the rocky launch. And now that community is thriving. And I've heard nothing but good things about Next and all of the updates that they've done in the recent months. So should be
Yeah.
fun. I did also want to talk about the Marvel's Iron Man VR. So this seems like a super cool project. Obviously, PlayStation has an established relationship now with Marvel from Marvel's Spider-Man, the PS4 exclusive. So no surprise that Marvel is working with them again on this. And what better Avenger to pick to do a VR game than Iron Man?
Iron Man.
It's
Super
really
perfect.
cool. When I
Yeah.
saw the debut of it, okay, so what they showed at the State of Play versus what the actual announcement trailer is are a little different because in the State of Play, it just starts in that first person perspective. But in the announcement trailer, you see the VR headset on the guy's face at first, so you know it's a VR game. So I don't want to lie, like as soon as I found out it was a VR game, I was like, oh. But still a really cool thing. I just got my hype meters up a little bit. I think it looks cool. Is it on rails? Has that been confirmed? Do we
I
know?
don't know.
I don't know if that's been confirmed or not.
That is a
Yeah.
great question.
But
I hope
would you
not.
play it if it were on rails?
Yeah, I mean, I want to try it out. I mean, I like VR. I was just wondering. I imagine for a game like, I don't know. For a
Right?
game like
Like,
this
you
in
don't know.
VR, is it better on rails or off rails? Is it better to have the control or just do
Yeah.
what the game wants you to do? Because there's a lot of flying and twisting and turning, and motion sickness is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, trust me, I know that. That's why I'm so scared of VR. Like, I've had a few experiences where, like, okay, this might be something fun, like Bartender Simulator, but I don't know, anything where there's a lot of movement, I'm very fearful of. Although I saw that Camouflage was, are the makers of Camouflage
Yeah,
is making this.
Yep, exactly.
Because I mean, I played their Republic game, but it's so crazy to think that like they made this game that I was playing on my iPad, and now they're going to be making this VR game. Like, what a jump! But I do love Ryan Payton. I just don't know if I'm going to jump into something like this only because of the whole VR component. I mean, good for them though. I feel like a lot of kids would like it.
Yeah, I think this is something that could maybe sell people on PlayStation VR that maybe have been putting on the fence about it. But I don't think kids can play VR yet.
What? No, don't they have to be like 14?
Yeah,
What
I
is the
think
age?
I thought 13 was like the minimum age, or they have to
Yeah,
be like
yeah.
a really big 10-year-old.
A really big 10-year-old.
Because it's about how far
most-
apart their eyes are spaced.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like as you get older,
13.
like your eyes apparently like grow apart.
Oh God.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
No, your head just gets bigger overall. So the way that the lenses are set. But quite frankly, I haven't seen any updates on that that statistic in a long time. So it's possible that
Yeah.
they've made improvements and strides in the technology that younger people can play now.
Well, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter because young people are just playing Fortnite anyway. So
That's true.
There you go.
Just wait until Fortnite comes to VR. Oh my gosh. Fortnite
Oh, no.
VR.
like broad strokes, broad strokes.
Yeah, exactly. If you guys
Every
want to
child.
deep dive into any of more of the state of play announcements, the PlayStation blog has write-ups on all of that. What do you ladies think about how state of play went overall? Obviously, Sony made the big announcement that they are no longer going to be presenting at E3, or at least for this year, and that they're really moving towards more of this type of communication style. Do you think it was successful?
Well, I think it's funny that while it was on, Nintendo Direct started trending on Twitter, because obviously that's what we
That's true.
relate this to, right?
Right.
I missed that. Oh my God, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then of course people, it doesn't matter, like anything new that people do, people are going to kind of try to hate on it in some way.
Yeah.
So even on their YouTube comments, it was all about Nintendo. A really funny comment actually was, "I'm so mad Nintendo didn't announce a new Animal Crossing. They didn't show us a new Animal Crossing trailer." Like it was just all about Animal
that's
Crossing because that's
funny.
all that people rag on Nintendo for in their directs. But I don't know. I was disappointed only because it was mostly VR, and that was the only reason. I like this style of getting my news and getting everything that they want me to know in this format. I thought Nintendo was brilliant for doing it way back when they decided not to do any more pressers. With an audience at E3. They were also met with some hate for that, but now look, we're all kind of like jumping on that bandwagon anyway. So I feel like it's a good thing for Sony.
Yeah, I think they did a great job. I mean, I'm not someone who analyzes the production of something like this. For me, the whole point of this is show me the game, show me the release date. I want to know who's making it. And I think they did a really good job at making that very clear. There's a little box in there and it's like, okay, this is who's made it. This is when it's coming out. It's like, okay, I get it. I have the information. Now we can move on to the next thing. Some people were annoyed at the production value, and I don't know why, because I don't have the eye for that kind of stuff. That's why we have Miss Andrea Renee on the What's Good Games team. That's why our studio never looks like a hot mess and why we sound so good on the audio. For me, we'd be recording in a webcam microphone. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, I mean, I think it did its job, and people forget that Nintendo's had 7-8 years to get these directs down pat, and for Sony's first attempt at this, I thought it was fine. I don't see anything that needs to change. I prefer this honestly over the Inside Xbox, although while I appreciate what Inside Xbox does and they bring in the developers and they have these fun interviews, sometimes I just want to get the news. Like, just give me the
and you
games
just want
and
the
then I can
trailer,
move on. Yeah, and then maybe I'll go back and watch the developer stuff later. But yeah, I think it was fine. Good job.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I thought it was a perfectly good first outing. I thought it was succinct and it relayed the right information, and they supported it with blog material that, fleshed out each of these announcements a little bit further, which was nice, so that we weren't left with questions of like, wait, what was that game again? Which sometimes we get during these press conferences during E3. It's like they do these montages of indie games, and you're like, I missed like 3 of those games. Who are those people? So I thought that part was well done. I like that they went with VO versus a hosted segment, because sometimes if you don't get a professional host, it can be super awkward, or even if you get a professional host, it can be super awkward. But I don't know how I feel about the woman that they got to do the voiceover. I kind of maybe I just secretly want Shuhei Yoshida to do all the voiceover for everything that Sony does, because he's wonderful. And I just saw him yesterday. We had chicken. It was great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we went to Bonchon, which is a local favorite here in San Mateo. If you've never had it, it's the best.
I
So
love name drop and the restaurant plug. Like both of those things I'm down with.
There you go.
Exactly. Name drop. So other than that, I thought it was really great, really well done, nice, short and snappy. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to get something like that, but probably closer to double the length around E3. Just because they're not going to be at E3 in Los Angeles doesn't mean that they don't have announcements, right? Like, we still need a release date for Dreams. We still need a release date for The Last of Us Part 2. We need to know what's going on with Ghost of Tsushima. What the heck is happening with Death Stranding, right? Like, we still have a lot of question marks about their
Nobody knows with
exclusives.
that game. Oh my God.
So,
Yeah, no, I feel
Yeah.
you. But do you feel like this is the direction that like now every publisher should go with? Like,
Gosh, I
do
hope
we
not.
need? Okay, because I still enjoy like meeting up with
Yeah.
everybody, seeing everybody, going into the theater and taking it all
conferences
in
are
and having
fun.
this visceral experience. Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah, for me as a fan, I love the hype of these press conferences, and I think Sony's always was the most hype, right? You know, you have the little mini party beforehand, and it's like boom, 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 boom. Here are the games. Here are the games. As a fan, yeah, I hope that they don't all go this way. But I guess if you remove that, it makes sense to do these kind of things, you know,
Do you feel
more
like
throughout
maybe
the year.
they're not going to do it this year because last year Sony people were complaining on Twitter about the presser, like Sony's presser, because you guys went into one room and then you went to another room or
Yeah.
something, and people, like, everybody was on Twitter describing it in a negative way, which, like,
I don't think
for
that
me,
had anything to do with what they did this year. I think it all just comes down to inventory and what they have to show.
Fair.
But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would
I
take
don't
one of
know.
those little walkie room press conferences again if it means they were having another one.
Well, yeah.
no,
Take it.
like what they did after that first presentation for The Last of Us Part 2 in the next room where we all sat in theater style seating and there was a giant screen and it felt very much like a press conference. That was fine. The
Yes.
reason why I ragged on the first part of it was because it was all one level and it was like 1,000 people in that room, and so if you weren't at the very front of the room you could not see the screen and what was happening because it wasn't like a slope or stadium seating. It was all just like us standing in a giant warehouse that was designed to look like the church in The Last of Us Part 2. And while atmospheric and kind of cool, at the same time, like, I'm there to see the presentation and to hear the news. And I couldn't even see Sean Layden when he was on stage because I couldn't see the stage.
Right.
I remember I had to brace myself against some strangers that were very nice in front of me and let me put my hand on their shoulders so I could like push myself up so I could look between their heads.
It just was poorly thought out in that regard of like, hey, we're not there to have an experience. We're there to get information and to watch what you're presenting. And that's why I really appreciated when we went to the next room where the Ghost of Tsushima presentation was. It was a much better experience overall. And that's where, you know, the GIF heard around the world from Britney came from.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2.
Yeah. So like,
Right, and we wouldn't have those moments. We want more moments like that at
right?
these.
Exactly.
Yes, 100%.
So I don't know. I just feel like part of me just felt like if that were me putting on a huge show and I went to all this trouble and spent all this money putting together this amazing experience, and if people just kind of dog me for it on Twitter, I'd be like, you know what? This is why we can't have nice things.
No,
we
that's
can't have
fair.
this anymore. You
That's a
know,
very,
I'm just gonna
very
do
fair
a little video
point.
presentation.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. And sometimes I think we forget about that because it's so easy to fall into a trap of hot takes. And it's something that I tweeted about before E3 last year, before, you know, the EA Play press conference kicked off. Because I got to spend so much time with several different development teams working on EA Play and seeing just how hard literally hundreds of people across all of the studios that work under EA worked to put together their trailers and their graphics and the script and everything that they were going to present. And they were nervous and excited. And so I had tweeted, you know, just remember, regardless of what your expectations are for what's being presented, like, people made these things, people worked really hard on them, and just try to temper your hot takes with the notion that you're putting a hot take on someone's really hard work. So like,
Yeah.
I enjoy a good hot take, of course, we all do, but try not to be hurtful or mean or derogatory for the sake of being derogatory. It's like,
Yes.
let's try to lift people up, and we're all guilty of it, but I think it's something that we
yeah.
all could be better about.
Okay, so that was a lesson from Sony.
Oh, yes.
That was like they secretly got it in there without having to say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe Nintendo taught us the lesson first, because they were ragged on so much during their pressers. I don't know if you remember, like, Wii Music.
Yeah.
Do you remember? That was not good.
I mean,
and people were really they were mean. They were
They
so
were,
mean.
but I feel like Nintendo has such a hardcore fan base that always shines a light on how great Nintendo is, that even if there's people ragging on them, because let's be honest, like, there's always going to be that one guy or that one girl who's just mean for the sake of being mean to anybody, because they just hate life and they want everyone to know how much they hate life. But I think Nintendo gets the brighter end, because I feel like they just have such a dedicated hardcore fan base that's been with them for decades. Unlike
I
some
think
of
at
these
this
other
point you just
people.
respect the weird things they do, and you're like,
Yeah.
that's weird, but hey, you do you, Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's obviously worked.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
We support you.
Yeah, indeed. All right, so moving on to ID at Xbox, since Brittany brought that up, they had their own little mini YouTube show that came out this week for the ID at Xbox Game Pass Indie Showcase. And they said that they're going to be doing these regularly, specifically for the indie games that are coming to Game Pass. And so on Game Pass day one, when the release is official, and I don't think we have dates for all of these yet, but they announced it's going to be Killer Queen Black, Outer Wilds, Void Bastards, Operencia?
Operencia, I think?
Operencia? The Stolen Sun. I probably should have double checked how to say that. Supermarket Shriek, The Good Life, After Party, Blazing Chrome. So we talked about After Party on the show last week. Game looks great. Marissa, do you know about After Party, the drinking game?
I don't. Oh, what?
Yeah. So you have
Yeah.
to drink your way out of hell.
Your two best friends who get sent to hell unexpectedly, and you find out that there's a loophole to get out of hell, and it's that you have to outdrink Satan.
Oh my God. Like
Yeah.
drink of choice?
So there is a variety of drinks in the game that change the way that you interact with people. So essentially, it's like a narrative-based adventure game at its core. And there's a couple little mini games. And when you go and drink at these different bars around hell, each of the drinks kind of gives you a different personality trait. Like one will make you flirty, one will make you talk like a pirate, one will make you angry. And so
Wait,
when you
which
drink,
one's flirty? Is it gin?
actually, they all have made up names, and their
Okay.
descriptions all sound really gross.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Don't
the
forget
bloody
you're
stool
still- you're
is
still
one
in
of
hell.
the names.
So
That's
important
so
to remember.
nasty.
But yeah, so what's cool about it is that once you have a drink, it'll change the way that you talk to people in the game. So you normally have like a left or right dialogue choice, and then if you have a drink, there's like a third choice that
Yes,
is
okay.
based off the drink you had.
Yo, I'm so down for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the writing's really good and really funny.
Yeah, it's from the same team that did
important.
Oxenfree, if you ever played that.
Okay. Okay. No, I'm just down for any kind of. But wait, now this is like a solo experience.
Yeah. I mean, you
Okay,
can play with
okay.
friends, but it's single player.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Just something that you can stream. I just feel like they do a lot of service now, or a lot of these games do service for streamers out there, because a lot of people would love to just watch a game like this being played.
True. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we enjoy it. It'll be fun.
Heck yes.
We'll make Steimer
I'll watch
play
you,
it, and then
ladies.
we'll drink and answer chat questions. It'll be great.
Hell yes.
Oh yeah.
I don't have too much else to say about ID at Xbox. Indie games are cool. Play indie games.
Yeah, I mean
Game
the
Pass.
supermarket shriek thing is interesting only because I think you're just shrieking into a microphone to play the game. Like
Wait, really?
Yes, it's like a co-op game, and you and the other person you're playing the game with just literally shriek into a microphone to turn in that direction.
That's amazing. Did you ever watch Supermarket Sweep back in the day?
No.
Yes, of course.
Oh my god.
Is it an
So
American
that's
thing?
Yeah, it's
It
a
must
game
be.
show.
Okay.
They would unleash all these people in a supermarket, and then the goal would be to get as many expensive items in your cart as you can before the time runs out. And sometimes, like, these big prizes would be these big inflatable, like, meats, and you have to get them in your cart. Anyway, so that's where my mind always goes when I see Supermarket Shriek.
Okay. I
But
mean,
it sounds like
yeah.
that's absolutely nothing like what the game is.
I mean, there was probably shrieking in that game show.
It's true. There was.
So yeah, it's relatable.
Yeah, I pulled up the little write-up about it over on Engadget. It says the premise of the game is simple. You're a man stuck in a shopping cart with a goat. Firmly wedged into the lorry, your only means of mobility is your shrieks of terror propelling you through a maze-like market riddled with booby traps. With 30 levels available at launch later this summer, that adds up to a lot of hollering. The controls
Yeah.
are delightfully straightforward. In single-player mode, you can control the man and the goat independently using the left and right triggers. Having
Okay.
one yell turns you left, having the other yell turns you right. Having them scream simultaneously to move forward, there is no reverse.
Andrea, we must have been. I know we were tipsy during the kind of funny live stream we did, but remember that gif of all of us sticking our heads up and our tongues out and going, bleh?
Yes.
That's for this game.
Right, because it says it gets even better with a friend. Plug a microphone into each of your controllers and have each person start yelling. The louder you are, the harder you turn, and the faster you go. The effect is similar to the classic NES Marble Madness, but each person has control of just half of the avatar's movement. It's a challenge, and be sure to keep plenty of lozenges on hand.
I mean, I think we found what we're doing during our after hours stream.
Obviously. Who doesn't want to hear us scream for 90 minutes? Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Okay, when are you guys going to do like a not kind of funny, sorry, What's Good Games ASMR stream?
Oh, wow. Steiner was mentioning this the other day about doing it.
She hates it.
I have to be honest, I'm still kind of confused about what it is, even though people have explained it to me several times.
Yeah, it's odd. It's very strange. I've been asked to do ASMR as well, but I always feel like it's like a pervy thing. Like, I don't know
fetish.
if
That sounds right.
Like, I can't tell. Like, I'm not sure if people are really just listening and it actually puts them to sleep, if they find it soothing in some way, or just gives them, the shivers, or but how can you just watch somebody do it for hours? I don't understand that. Like, it seems kind of wrong.
Is it innocent, or is it like when you get those random messages from people who are like, take a picture of your feet and send them to me? It's like, this is not for a good reason.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's kind of what it feels like. I could be wrong. I don't live in that world. I just thought it was so funny how like the mainstream world was introduced to ASMR via the Super Bowl, because there was like that ASMR commercial, and so many people were so confused as to what this was, but it gave them feelings. I don't know what kind of feelings, but it gave them, tinglies.
It gave me tinglies. I remember that. Yeah.
I honestly didn't see it because I was in Australia and I didn't get to watch any of the commercials because all the ads in Australia were different during the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're too busy riding kangaroos.
I guess I could find it on YouTube if I was really intrigued, but
I think the takeaway, going back to the idea at Xbox, is just that Game Pass continues to be a very good deal. And there are a few games on here that I know I want to pay full price for. Outer Wilds, I'm interested in. Operencia, it's an RPG. The Good Life, which is, I think,
Void Bastards looks really fun, too.
Yeah. The Cat Game and After Party. So, hey, go on through bad self, Xbox.
Yeah. All right, next up, speaking of subscription services, Apple is throwing their hat in the ring. They've announced Apple Arcade, a subscription service for premium games. This write-up comes from Kotaku. Apple announced Apple Arcade, their game service for Apple devices, with a lineup including games from developers like Sega, Konami, Mistwalker, the studio founded by Final Fantasy creators Hironobu Sakaguchi. Coming this fall to iPhone, iPad, Apple computers, and Apple TV, Apple Arcade is a service that provides unlimited access to premium games for a monthly subscription. The service was introduced on stage with a video showcase of game creators, including Sakaguchi showing off the gorgeous Fantasia. Fantasia? Yes.
Fantasian.
Fantasian.
There's an N at the end.
There is an N at the end. I can read. As well as hand-picking games for the service, Apple's also contributing to the development of games for the platform. All games on Apple Arcade will be playable offline and will feature no ads or in-app purchases. No pricing was announced for the Apple Arcade subscription service, which launches across Apple devices this fall. The service will launch with more than 100 games, including Overland, Beyond a Steel Sky, Where Cards Fall, Sonic Racing, and more.
I feel like they kind of had to go in this direction for developers, also to just keep up with the Kardashians, that is Amazon. But I don't know if it's going to be like an all-encompassing service that Amazon provides that is, the music, the video, the Twitch subscription, the YouTube. Like they've got so much going on with that one monthly fee that I don't know. Like, I feel like Apple needs to also give me this one monthly fee, but also give me Apple Music. Give me something else outside of the games, because most of the games that I play on my iOS device are freemium. Like they're free games that I jump into. Like, this is, I guess, their answer for that, because so many people will only buy freemium games. But if I'm paying something now, I just feel like it's got to be everything. Like, I want it all.
No, they absolutely said that this was designed specifically to combat the free-to-play games market and the issue of discoverability with paid games on the App Store. I mean, they said there's over 300,000 games available on your iOS devices, and that is wild to think about.
Yeah.
So discoverability, a huge issue for developers. So if they come in at a reasonable price point, I can see this being incredibly popular. It's going to be tough to figure out what people would be willing to pay for. Is $10 too much? It kind of feels like yes, it is. Is $5 too little? Is $3 too little? Like, is it going to be $7.99? Like, how do you decide like what it's going to cost?
Yeah, I mean, 100 games, and it sounds like they have some. I mean, I don't know shit about iOS games, admittedly. I was going through the list of games that have been released. I'm like, I don't really know what any of these are because I don't play mobile games, really. But for $10, I mean, if you get 100 games, they're going to be rotating games in and out. I feel like that's a very reasonable price. I mean, look at Game Pass, right? That's something people are willing to do.
Most mobile games are only a few hours long. They're not like even a 20-hour, 30, 40, 50-hour experience like you're getting with some of the games available on Game Pass.
So, yeah, it depends what are these games. You know, if you have Final Fantasy IV on there, like that's a very, very long game. I just don't know enough about the games to be able to justify what a reasonable price point would be, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are like incredible. I mean, the people that made Monument Valley made Florence, and that's like a $4 game, I think, or for Canadians it was $4. I would pay maybe that much, $4.99 a month. I just don't want to keep adding to this monthly fee on top of this monthly fee. On this, like I have too many monthly fees going on where it's just like I don't know if I want another one mixed in when I'm already completely satisfied with all the games that I have so far, including the games that I've already paid for on my iOS device. Like I am rocking Roller Coaster Tycoon still. Pay $8 for that shit, but I'm on it constantly because it's a perfect like plain game. And I do love that you can play these games without an internet connection. That's pretty important because a lot of people use this stuff while they're traveling too, right? So I don't know. I don't know. It just really depends on the price and if I want to add it to my already stacked up bill every month.
Yeah, just one more thing to add to the pile. I'll probably do it because I love mobile games, and I am so excited that this focuses on offline games because so many games on mobile require to be on your connection. And when I'm on an airplane and I don't want to play my Switch, I want something maybe a little bit of a more succinct experience. Like there's so many great mobile games that are just like an hour or two or maybe 3 or 4 hours and then bam, you're done.
Hell yeah, I'm on that train for sure. I know, because I will bring my Switch with me on the plane always, but I often, just because it's the easier thing, my phone is already in my hand, just open up a game and start playing and building my parks in Roller Coaster Tycoon. I can't stop. I cannot stop with Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like, it pisses me off so much because I keep failing my objectives, like by like 3 people. So annoying, but I love it.
Well, love what you love. We're not here to stop you from it.
Okay.
Good.
I mean, I do love that.
Okay, she says.
Okay, I'm going to run through this next story, and then Brittany, I'm going to let you take the final one, just because I wanted to just mention that this game is happening. We don't have any details about it, but Daedalic Entertainment announced The Lord of the Rings Gollum, a new narrative-based action-adventure game. So this write-up comes from Game Informer. It follows the story of Smeagol's corruption through the One Ring to rule them all. The narrative-driven action-adventure title promises to remain true to the original lore, but will also explore new events and details related to Gollum's journey. Quote, we tell Gollum's story from a perspective never seen before in any storytelling medium, all the while staying true to the legendary books of J.R.R. Tolkien, says Daedalic CEO Karsten Fichtelman. At a time when the games industry is undergoing structural changes and seeing new business models evolve, we are excited to realize a huge new production based on a story that has stayed fresh and relevant for more than 60 years. So it's being built by their in-house studio using Unreal Engine and will release in 2021 on PC and, quote, all relevant console platforms at that time, which definitely means next gen for Xbox and PlayStation, whatever those names end up being. And what's exciting too is that this is going to be releasing around the same time as Amazon's new Lord of the Rings series that they are working on, which is also set to debut in 2021.
Dang.
Yeah.
Cool.
More Lord of the Rings. Let's go.
Gollum freaks me out. I don't know if I can handle a game of just him.
It's true.
I mean, I'm sure there's interesting gameplay there. If you look, Gollum and Smeagol, is that the other dude?
Yeah, Smeagol.
Yeah, I mean, Smeagol, I don't fucking know. It's like you can make them talk to each other. Maybe you choose, like, maybe it's a choose your own adventure kind of thing. You know, at the end, maybe you get the good ending or bad ending, depending on who made most decisions in your life. But honestly, like, I'm very excited for Lord of the Rings fans. Like, this is great. I will definitely try this, but I'm a little worried because, like, that whole thing just freaks me out a little bit. It just makes me feel uneasy. It's the way my Raggedy Ann doll made me feel when I was a child. Just
I thought
a
that
little
you
uneasy.
like feeling uneasy in games. Isn't that your thing?
Yeah, like intentionally uneasy. Like if I'm playing a horror game, I want to feel uneasy. I don't want to have to stare at this big-eyed creature this whole time and listen to it talk to itself. That just, ugh.
Yeah, it'll have like all that internal dialogue. That would be actually pretty freaky. Although I do kind of miss living in the Lord of the Rings universe. Like I just used to binge those movies like every Christmas. I try to do it, but now that I've had Game of Thrones, it's like, you know what, that fulfills my fantasy intake. So I just feel like maybe a game like this could bring me back into that world, and then tying it to Amazon, I just feel like it's kind of perfect with the timing. Like you never know, it could be incredible.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Maybe if they cut off all of his straggly hair, his little straggles, maybe I'll feel less uneasy about it.
But wait, is it first? If it's first person,
Oh God!
Then
What if
it'll
they
be
put
okay.
little hairs in the cameras? That's all you see are
Well,
little hairs hanging. In the
Don't forget that they have said that the setting of this game is meant to be before the events of The Hobbit. So
Okay.
what that
What does that
means is
mean?
that you're going to see a Gollum that isn't as far gone as he is in The Lord of
Oh,
the
God.
Rings. So this is potentially 100 years or more ahead of the event of The Lord of
his
the Rings.
journey into madness.
Because people forget that Gollum is old. He's really old. The One Ring has like warped him and demented him. He used to be a hobbit, and that's who
Yeah.
Smeagol is, right? And so I'm really interested to see like what part of, the lore they're really going to dig into with this. And I don't want to get too far down the Tolkien rabbit hole. I'll have to consult my favorite Tolkien expert, Miss Alexa Ray, and see what her thoughts are. Maybe I'll bring back a
God.
quote for you guys for next week's show. All right, Brittany, the final news story. Let's get to it.
All right, Nintendo to launch 2 new Switch models. There should be a question mark at the end of that. So this comes from the WSG, and we paid a subscription, so support people who do good work. We finally did it. Nintendo plans to launch 2 new versions of its Switch gaming console as early as this summer, people familiar with the matter said, as the company seeks to sustain sales momentum for the product going into a crucial third year. One version will have enhanced features targeted at avid video gamers, although it won't be as powerful as Sony's PlayStation 4 Pro or Microsoft's Xbox One X, according to parts suppliers and software developers for Nintendo who have access to a prototype of the machine. The other version is a cheaper option for casual gamers that Nintendo sees as a successor to its aging handheld 3DS device, the suppliers and developers say. The new models are likely to be unveiled at E3 Video Game Expo in Los Angeles in June and possibly released a few months later, one person familiar with Nintendo's plan said. Kyoto-based Nintendo declined to comment. Prices for the new Switch models couldn't be learned. To cut costs for the cheaper version, Nintendo plans to eliminate some of the functions used in the original Switch console, such as the vibration feature, according to Nintendo suppliers. Quote, the company judged the new Switch models won't need the vibration feature because there wouldn't be many games released during using the full benefit of it, one official familiar with the plan said. Oh, man. So these rumors have been going around for a hot minute now. I think it was late last year that we talked about this, and I don't quite remember. I think we basically said, yeah, this makes sense. Eventually this is going to happen. But the rumor was for it to come out, I think, that holiday season, which would have been way too early. Because if you look at how consoles do these, I think between like the Xbox and the Xbox One X and the PlayStation PS4 Pro, you average about 3 to 4 years. And so if this does come out this summer, that's about 2.5 years for Nintendo. So a little early, but makes sense.
I think that they need to push their release schedule to stay relevant as Xbox and PlayStation rapidly approach the end of this generation into the next generation. And Nintendo is, I don't want to say lagging behind, because they have clearly put their flag down and said, we're here, Nintendo Switch is successful. There are lots of people that love it. They're, I think, just saying we're a different offering. And I think that this makes sense. I was talking to Greg on Games Daily about how this, to me, very much sounds like what they did with the new 3DS XL, making something maybe a little bit more advanced tech-wise. And then also what they did with the 2DS, making something a little less advanced, a little bit more kid-friendly, something more budget-friendly, but still runs the vast majority of the library available from Nintendo. So I would not be surprised if they put out a new piece of hardware. Switch sales have kind of, fallen short of their expectations. And the best way to reinvigorate
Andrea Renoy is back in the building.
Oh my gosh. It's because I had to stop drinking my coffee because I got cold. You know what that's like when you sip your coffee and you're like, nope, it's not hot anymore. And so I think they need to, put a shot of adrenaline into Switch sales. And the best way to do that is to offer a new SKU. So whether that be like a special paint job or more fancy internal components, or maybe they make it one of the rumors going around, of course, is a mobile only version of the Switch that doesn't have detachable Joy-Cons, that everything's just like kind of fused into one. We'll see.
I don't know. I feel like that'd be a bad idea because part of the whole thing about Switch is that you can take off the Joy-Cons and play with a friend. Look at playing Pokemon Let's Go, right? You take off the Joy-Cons and you play
I
together.
didn't say it was a good idea. I just said it's one of the many ideas that are out there.
I'm not coming at you, baby
People
girl.
also got very mad that the 2DS didn't fold because they were like, the whole point of the 3DS is that it's 3D. What are you doing, Nintendo? This is dumb.
Well, now they have the new Nintendo 2DS XL that you can buy that folds. So calm down, people. But yeah, so I've heard the Joy-Con rumors as well, and I can't see that being a thing because that's kind of what you're teasing. Like you eliminate so many possibilities when you get rid of the Joy-Cons. What if you buy another pair of Joy-Cons that you have to play with your attached Joy-Cons? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But yeah, if they announce a bigger screen, some prettier guts on the inside, like I will buy a new one just because that's me, and I just want the best gaming because I love my Switch. I take it with me everywhere I go. And then you also look at the price point. So right now, the new Nintendo 2DS XL is $149.99. A new Switch is $299.99. So if they can drop that price point to get closer to that, then you're going to start selling more units because their goal is to have like 2 to 3 Switches per household, right? And last I checked, this was a while ago, there's like 335 million 3DSs out there. So obviously they want to convert those folks into the Switch users
335 millions? That sounds wild. Let's
3DS. Let me
up.
Google it.
She's double check. She's fact checking.
I remember because it was a crazy number.
Listen, I've got like every iteration of like the DS, the DS Lite, the DSi. Like I've got a stack of DSs that are just collecting dust now at this point. But if I don't know, if the Switch were to go maybe a little bit smaller, even more compact, I would be 100 down. I will get whatever they put out, honestly, because at this point I'm sipping all Nintendo's Kool-Aid. I'm just picking up what they're putting down, And I think that with the whole DS thing, I just have a nephew that just got a 2DS, and he's experiencing Nintendo games for the first time on that, and it's so exciting to see. But yeah, I would think that they would want to pull people off of that iteration of their hardware and bring them into this world, into the now, and have maybe no more games coming out for the DS at some point.
Yeah,
I think I was looking at, did you find numbers, Andrea?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I think
drop some knowledge.
Yeah, so the 3DS total sales, now there's a couple conflicting reports. I have more than 69 million units, and then this other site that I have is 74.3 total global sales.
So is that all DS or 3DS software?
So DS and 3DS are separate.
Right.
So
and so what I meant to say
DS is its own thing.
DS. Right.
Right.
I meant like the handhelds with the screen. Like that's the number I was trying to pull, but I think I pulled a wrong number because that's a lot.
Yeah, because like 335 million is more than the top three, or is more than the top three. No, it's like the top two combined. So yeah, they sold a lot of 3DSs. There's a ton out in the world, but they need to sunset it. It's old tech.
Yeah.
The graphics look dated. Like it's time to move on to the next thing. And obviously Nintendo Switch is the next thing. So
yeah.
It's very happening.
We'll keep an eye on it. I have no doubt that Nintendo is going to iterate on the Switch, just where and when and how,
Okay, hold on. I see where that number came from. So 3DS hardware has sold more than 70 million units. DS sold 154 million units, and Game Boy sold 120 million units. So all that combined was the number that I
Nintendo's
got.
total lifetime handheld sales.
Handheld sales.
Yes, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, Nintendo. I'll buy all your shit.
I'll buy all
Oh my
your
god, I
shit.
know. Not
Except
to
for your
age
VR
myself, but
Labo. I won't buy that.
Except for
I
VR
was such a
Labo.
Game Girl kid, though.
You miss it?
Yeah, Game Gear always for me. I would fight with my brother because he had a Game Boy, and I would lie and say that no, mine was better because my screen lit up. And
Yeah,
it was a big
that's a
deal
good
for
reason.
me. But it wasn't and I'm like, yeah, and mine's portable too. But that was just a lie because I had to sit by an outlet with my plug, with my adapter, because the batteries would die constantly. I didn't sip Nintendo's portable Kool-Aid until after I had put my Game Gear to bed because that was a lie I just couldn't keep up with.
Yeah. I hear you.
It's too strong, man. No, just childhood memes. Nintendo just kind of always did it, right?
Yeah, man. I loved my Game Boy. That Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles life.
Yep, and all the attachments you could get for it, the light, the screen amplifier. Oh yeah.
See, I never
Magnifier,
had
the
any of
sound
that.
boost.
I didn't live that fancy life. I got the
Oh, yeah.
I got the base unit, and I was grateful for what I got. My dad was like, "You will like it, and you will shut up about it." I was like,
You're like,
"Okay,
yes,
Dad.
sir.
Thank you."
So funny.
All right, ladies, that is going to do it for our first segment of the show. Obviously, a ton of news to get to, but when we come back, we're going to talk about what we've been playing. So stick with us. We'll see you in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. It is the second segment of the What's Good Games podcast, and this is where we talk about what we've been playing. And this week's hands-on impressions are brought to you by GOAT.
Oh yeah.
Brittany,
I got things to tell you about GOAT.
you have a special message from our sponsors over at GOAT.
I do. So if you're buying sneakers online, there's more than a coin flip's chance that the shoe you're looking at is fake. How can you be sure it's real, Andrea and Marissa?
Question mark, question mark.
Question mark, question mark. I'll tell you, GOAT.com is the safest way to buy and sell authentic sneakers online. They're the largest marketplace in the world for authentic Yeezys, Jordans, and over 600,000 sneaker listings. They've made the whole process frictionless and trustworthy. They do this only by accepting sellers with the best reputation and by verifying all sneakers to ensure their authenticity for buyers. Every detail is inspected, from the stitching and color to the size and weight. GOAT certifies that every pair of sneakers on their site matches exact factory specifications. With over 500,000 sneakers on the platform and 10 million users, you won't find better prices for verified 100% authentic sneakers anywhere else. Find the perfect 100% authentic sneaker at goat.com/goodgames. That's goat.com/goodgames. Plus, you'll also be supporting our show, but you've got to go right now before the sneakers you want are gone when you go to goat.com/goodgames. That's GOAT.com/goodgames. So, let me tell you about my sneakers I got from GOAT.
They're so cute.
The first thing I did is I went to goat.com and I went in the little search area and I typed in Nintendo, because of course I did, because what are actual shoes anyway? And I found these. They're called the Nintendo X SK Skate High Slim Coins. I don't speak sneaker lingo. All I know is I look at the shoe and I'm like, is this cute? Do I want it? Yes, I do. So it's a white, Andrew, would you consider it a high top?
Yes.
Vans?
It is a high top.
Okay, and there's all these little coin blocks kind of going down the side of it, and then on the front of the tag is Mario from the Mario Bros game, the little NES little dude. And they're really cute and they're really comfy, and I really love them. I like a lot of the Vans shoes. I have the NES style one, so I thought I'd complete my collection, and GOAT has almost all of them available on their site.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, if you guys follow my husband, John T. Drake, on Twitter, you know that he posts about sneakers all the time, and he is a massive sneakerhead, and he loves GOAT. When he found out that we were going to be working with GOAT, he lost his tiny mind. He was like, oh my God.
His tiny
Worlds
mind.
colliding. This is awesome. So I have yet to pick out my pair because I'm going to admit it. I'm being indecisive about which sneakers I want to get. So I told him this weekend we have to like make a selection. I was like, help me be cool in the sneaker department. John, help me.
You have the same Vans that I do, Andrea, the peach ones. But like, would you add to your collection like Brittany, or are you going a different route?
I would absolutely add to my collection, but I'm thinking I want to expand my horizons and maybe pick something that looks really dope, but I don't know looks really dope. And then I'll have
That's
John
my
be
problem.
like, this is the cool hotness right now, because his sneaker collection has gotten so out of control that he now has to keep them at his office. So I don't actually know how many pairs of sneakers he has.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
John,
whenever anybody
okay.
walks in for a meeting with John, they're greeted by a wall of like fancy sneakers.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So if you want to
Okay,
be
so
like
you can't-
John, goat.com
Yeah.
/goodgames.
So we can't like Marie Kondo. You can't Marie Kondo your home. Like every pair of sneakers sparks joy for him.
Yes. Well, not every pair. He has decided to sell some pairs
nice.
because the resale market, particularly for unworn sneakers, is really crazy high. Like I did not realize that, people are paying, dudes in particular are paying so much for sneakers. But hey, you know what? Whatever brings you happiness, like Marissa
Whatever
said.
floats your boat.
Does it spark joy in your life?
Yeah.
You know what sparks joy in my life?
Video games.
And this. You've convinced me. So I went and got a whiskey. I was officially peer pressured. It's not like they had to twist my arm that hard.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers, ladies.
Yay!
Cheers.
Hopefully you guys are enjoying a beverage of your choice as well, because now we're going to talk about what we've been playing. And Britt, you are having an addiction crisis.
I wouldn't call it a crisis. I'm living a very good life right now.
You're very happy about it.
I'm very happy about this. So I have been saying for a while that I've been craving a sim, particularly a farming sim. I want my Story of Seasons, god damn it, and I want it right now, and it's not a thing. I don't even think it's been officially announced over here for the western area. So my time at Portia, I found out the actual way to call it is Portia, is a game that was kickstarted in 2017, and it just came out January of this year on PC, and it's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on April 16th. And so when Team 17 reached out and was like, hey, do you want a review code? And I was like, yes, please. I've been only waiting for this my whole life. And so what it is, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. So you are a builder, and so you're coming to Portia as you can choose your male or female character. And you're coming to Portia to take over this area that your father had that has been neglected. It's kind of that same old like, oh, a neglected farm. Go take care of it. But it's not so much a farm. It's just a hut. And you are assuming the role of the builder. That's your role in this society. And what you do is that people come to you when they need stuff built. It can be a light post. It can be a shed. It could be like a bucket. It could be a big tool. It could be any of those things. And then in order to build those, you have to go out and gather resources, and then you go and build your thing, and then the people get happy, you get experience points, you get money, and you get town reputation. And so the way this game has been described is a sandbox RPG adventure inspired by the beautiful aesthetic of Castle in the Sky. It features gameplay elements inspired by the likes of Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, mixed with some Dark Cloud in there. So kind of like hashtag say no more, I'm in. So yeah, I've been playing this game essentially nonstop since Friday. And it has that collection element where you go out. So you start out, you have nothing. And then you go, you gather wood and you gather stone. And then you build an axe, and then you build a pickaxe and stuff like that. And now you can go harvest more materials. And then eventually you have to build these little machines, and every machine has a different purpose. So if you need to turn your iron ore that you get from mining into an iron bar, you have to use a particular machine. If you want to cut that iron bar into a plate to craft something, you have to use another machine. So it's definitely a progressive, there's a lot of progress in there that you have to make. It's a slow burn is what I'm trying to say. But other than like that aspect of it, you can do farming, you can have animals, you can grow crops, you can build your relationships with at least 55 characters that I've counted that are in this game. Oh yeah, and you can romance them, you can become their friends. Yes. Are you familiar with these games that I'm talking about?
God, yes. I am
good.
hard on Stardew. Oh my God. And like just Animal Crossing, like these are my jams. That's my life. If there's a farm sim, like I'm 100 in. No, Stardew Valley got me in a different way where like I love Harvest Moon so much, but it didn't get its claws in me like Stardew Valley did. So this game sounds like something I'd be interested in, only because like, yo, I was a G in Stardew Valley. Like I am dating everybody in the town, just courting them all. Just because it's fun to discover those different dialogue trees that you didn't think existed, and then just finding little like peanuts of things from different people and getting the gossip from the town. Hell yes, I'm all over this.
Yes.
Please tell me there's gossip and the other townspeople gossip about each other.
Yeah, there is a girl in there who specifies in gossip. Yeah, it's a thing. So each character, each NPC has, I don't know, like 8 or 9 different hearts or stars on them, depending on if you can romance them. And then you do the thing, you talk to them every day and you build up your relationship, but then you want to give them presents because then they'll like you even more. And it's that whole aspect of that character building, which is awesome. And the town itself it's a pretty large map for a game like this. You know, it takes a while to get from point A to point B, and I haven't even uncovered the entirety of the map. So you have this huge, sprawling town of Portia where you have all these different shops and all these different people roaming around. You have the fields where you can do like fishing and mining. Then you have the actual abandoned ruins where you can do even more mining. And I am just like losing my life to it, and I am not complaining about it whatsoever. It is so much fun. So what you do is you wake up in the morning, you can do whatever you want. So it's a sim. So what's beautiful about this is that there's no real wrong way to play. Yeah. You can just play it and do what you want. One day you want to do this, the next day you do that. So what a typical day looks like for me is like a typical day in my life. I'll wake up, I'll walk out of my house, and then you can customize your house as well with furniture, and then the furniture you put inside the house gives you stat boosts, because this game does have a lot of RPG elements. You know, you have your health, you have your stamina, you have endurance, and then you have 3 different skill trees that can affect your battling, so how much damage you do, your HP, all that. Then your gathering, so maybe you'll get double drops from mining, or your relationships with the characters. So maybe you talk to someone, they'll like you twice as much as if, you know, you only talk to them, they only like you like once, right? So
Sure, yeah,
you usually get 1 point every time you talk to someone, but if you have this buff, you get 2 points of affection from them instead. And then it keeps going down and down and down, and I haven't even looked into all of the different upgrades that you can do.
Is there
So
a
anyway,
doctor? Is there a doctor that you can bring wine to that would feel like he's being romanced?
There is a
Alice
doctor.
Hardy?
I haven't brought him wine yet,
Okay.
so I'm not sure. And everyone
he
loves
likes-
this doctor.
Yeah, or he just likes anything fermented. Like he likes the pickles too. He likes jam.
Yeah,
I know
see?
what the doctor likes.
And what's cool about this game, I love you so much, is that there's a social tab in this game, so you can hover over all the characters, and then as you get to know them, it'll give you background information on them. It'll tell you when their birthday is, and then they have a list built in of their likes, their dislikes, their loves, and their hates. And so you can kind of like, okay, I'm not going to give this person a rusty pipe because I tried that and he hated me for it. I thought he liked it, but no, he didn't like it, and I was really sad about it. Anyway, so you get up. I know, right? I thought it was a good idea, but no. And you can't give everyone eggs. So that's my usual go-to strategy. You can't do that in this game. Anyway, yeah, so I wake up, I walk out, and then I have a whole bunch of machines, because you can also upgrade your house. You can upgrade the space around you. You can buy more land, so you can get more buildings in there. You check all that. You see, okay, so I have all these things currently cooking, because, you know, you put an iron ore into the furnace. It takes, you know, how many minutes before that to process. So then you check all that. You have to keep it constantly fueled with trees, and well, not trees, wood. And then you leave that, and then you can like, now what? Do I need to gather ingredients? Because sometimes because there's actually a story to this game, which is really cool. There's an overarching story, and that makes it even more interesting. So in order to progress the story, sometimes you have to build certain things. So yeah, anyway, I'm just having so much fun with it. And if any of this sounds like it's up your alley, definitely check it out. I think it's
better. Is it better than Stardew though? That's the question.
It's a different game, almost a different. I mean, it's the same sort of idea and concept, but it just feels a little different. I would say Stardew is a more polished game, because what I was going to say is this one. Right now, like the loading screens they can be kind of gnarly. Not all of them are so bad, but sometimes up to 30 to 40 seconds when you're coming in and out of the building. And I reached out to their team and asked if that's something they plan on patching, because I don't think that's a Switch only issue. And they haven't gone back to me. They said they were going to chat with the team and see. But I can't say it's better or worse than Stardew, because Stardew is so focused on the farming aspect of it, and this has much more. But if you like Stardew Valley, I would say you would probably really dig this one too.
Okay.
Anyway, it's wonderful. I don't know where the time goes. I don't know where my weekend went. I was on that couch. Ass got glued to it. Oh, so good.
You know, that's the trouble with these games, that you lose yourself in them. Like any sim game, like even when I was just growing up, like playing Sims on my, I would sneak downstairs to the computer to play, and it would just end up being 4 a.m, because you don't realize how quickly the time passes when you're invested in someone else's life in game and like building their life instead of building your own. It's fine.
And just coming off of GDC, and I was gone for like 6 days or something, and now we're leaving for PAX East. It was honestly like the perfect thing I could have played, because it just is my ultimate relaxation thing. If ever Stardew Valley's out, or Harvest Moon, well, Harvest Moon's kind of gone to shit lately, but Stardew Valley or Story of Seasons, and like this kind of game.
She has multiple
I've said it
times.
many times.
She's called them out before.
Yeah. I'm very upset about it. Don't get me going. Yeah, it's just been really good, really relaxing, and it's a really good time. You know, like I said, if you like Stardew Valley or those kind of games, I think you'll like this. The farming, for the most part, is optional, so far from what I found. So I'm not technically allowed to review this game yet. I can only give my preview impressions, and that's
Gotcha.
Yeah, because the I can't. Yeah, the game releases the 16th of April. So
Okay. Well, I mean, you sold me.
good. It's fucking
So
great.
I'm in.
Yeah, like I said,
Great.
kind of slow loading times, and there are some clipping issues and some lag. There was a patch last night. I'm not totally sure what that fixed, but it's nothing that is. It slightly can get annoying, but it's not tearing me away from the game. It's worth it.
Okay.
Excellent.
Andrea's like, not my kind of game.
It's just not, and that's okay.
That's fine.
Because my ass was glued to the couch this weekend too, relaxing, trying to decompress from a very busy GDC week before we head into PAX. But I was mainlining my way to level 30 in the end game of the Division 2, which I finally did get to. Marissa, it says here that you played a little bit of the Division.
Yeah, a little bit, as in played with, watched Chandler Riggs play with his girlfriend, which is really fun for Xbox sessions. That was my first taste of it, and then I got home. We downloaded it here at the studio. We played a little bit. Like I'm very bad at these games. Like I'm just bad at the whole looter shooter because I get panicked, like I'm not doing enough for my team. So when they need me, I'm not there for them, and that gives me anxiety, like I should be better at this and I should be better for them. So I'm constantly just feeling like I'm failing in a game like this, but I want to play because I also like to give good games a chance. Like I know that it's good. I know that everyone's loving it, like as far as I've seen on Twitter anyway. So I want to experience it for myself. I just wish that I could give the game or the developers what they are hoping from a gamer. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm not living up to their standards as a gamer, basically playing this game.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if you ever want help, there are clans of What's Good Gamers, both on Xbox and on PlayStation. I don't know if anybody actually started a PC clan, but you are more than welcome to join our clans. And the people in the clans are so great about Sherpaing people through things, and there's no expectations. It's all about having fun. I mean, I like to razz the people in the clan that play with me a little bit just for funsies, because it's a lot of the kids that I play Destiny with. But no, like there's no like, we're gonna boot you out if you don't get X amount of gear score by X day, or if you're not contributing this many points to the clan weekly bounties or whatever. Like that's silly.
No.
Oh my god, because that's the experience I just had recently in Clash Royale, but we can get to that later.
No, let's talk about it now. I mean, we talked a lot about the Division.
God.
I can talk about that in a minute.
So, okay, fine, because segue full on, exactly what you just described happened to me in Clash Royale. Yo, I was in a clan. First of all, so Andrew Rayner invited me to his clan because I was talking about it on Twitter, how I just got Clash Royale. I'm obsessed with it. I can't stop playing. And then Ben Silverman jumped on, and so did Jose, saying, like, listen, like, we've been playing too, but just kind of fell off of it. And then Andrew, like, just DM'd me saying, hey, I have a clan. You're welcome to join. Okay. So I joined them, and I'm not a level 8 yet, so I can't compete in clan wars. But basically, I feel like I'm part of a team because there's just so many of them, and these guys are competing, and this is wonderful, and I'm doing my own games, and I'm trying to level up. And then all of a sudden, I got booted from the clan, and then Andrew sent a message in the clan being like, yo, she's my friend, you can't just boot her. Like, full on giving them shit for booting me.
I thought he had clan control. And for people who don't know, Andrew Reiner is the executive editor of Game Informer, and also another friend of the show. He's wonderful.
Yes.
So you got booted from the clan?
I got booted from the clan, and so because I got back into the clan because he brought me back in, but I saw their messages back and forth, and somebody was complaining like she doesn't contribute enough cards. I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry, like I'll start contributing more. So every chance I got, whenever anybody needed a donation, I was there with it, even though I don't have that many, remember, because I'm also trying to level up, but I'm giving them everything I got. And then a week later, I get booted again, but not from Andrew, and I haven't messaged him because I don't want him to, like, I don't want him to fight with his clan over me because it's not fair. And then the message just said to me from the guy who booted me out saying, sorry, maybe later, because I was only a level 7. But since then I've leveled up to level 8, and I can technically compete in clan wars, but I don't want to go begging for a clan. You know, like I don't want a clan that doesn't
horrifying.
want me.
That makes me mad.
I actually can relate because I was in a very intense guild when I was playing Middle Earth, the game from Kabam, like way back when. It's like an RTS game, and if you didn't contribute X amount of gold or whatever each week, or if you weren't active, like they would boot you right away. Because some of these top clans, like it's really serious to them that they maintain their stats. And we would take turns buying the whatever packs were on sale, because Kabam would do these sales where if you bought like the $100 pack in game, everybody in your clan got a $25 boost. And the clans were like 100 people deep. And so if one person bought the $100 pack, everybody else in the clan got $25 for free. And so we
Wow.
would like rotate it around. And so like it was very serious.
Okay.
Mobile clans are like next level.
Holy, I've never felt this kind of pressure to perform. Like I thought just playing on consoles online, like that was tough enough, especially once you get on the mic and you reveal that you're a girl. No, but this clan has been, I don't know, like I wanna jump back in and be like, hey, like I can do this now, I'm a level 8, I can participate, but I just feel like I'm still not gonna be good enough for them. But then I don't wanna join like a clan that doesn't compete. Like I want to compete, but I also don't wanna be, I don't know, beholden to their standards. Like I just feel like they're too high, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you were treated that way. If anybody that's listening or watching has a Clash Royale clan that has a spot for lovely Marissa, let us know. You can tweet to her at Marissa Roberto or tweet to us
you.
at what's good _games. In fact, tweet to both of us. Tag us both. We'd like to know.
Yes, please. Accept
Let's
me.
find her a home in Clash Royale. So this game has been out for a number of years now.
Oh yeah, yeah. This Clash Royale. Also, because I work in the esports scene, it's just good for me to always be on top of the games that are constantly making waves. And Clash Royale has just got these crazy prize pools and these crazy stages. They put on such a show. A lot of the other people in the esports world don't respect it because it's a mobile game. But if you're a mobile gamer and you like competing, these competitions are incredible to watch. Only for like the shows that they put on. Yes, you're just watching somebody play a tower defense game. I get it, but it's still so fun to see once you know the game, to see the characters they use and like their strategies and just getting involved in that way. So I like to know the game before I kind of watch it and talk about it. I think it's only respectful that I do
You
that.
mean you
And then
doing
I
your
just-
job very well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Kind of doing my job. So because of that, I just honestly wanted to learn the mechanics of the game and learn the characters, but I just got so addicted to it that it's like every morning now I'm checking my loot, I'm checking my cards, I'm leveling up whatever I can without spending dough. Although I did just drop $7, but
That's fine.
It's just a
fine.
cool $7. That's like, that's still cheaper than an almond milk latte and the egg white bites at Starbucks.
Hey, you're right about that, but that is my morning.
It's true. I love
You
me
just
those egg
described
white
my morning
bites.
perfectly.
I mean,
They're so
listen, as
good.
someone who has spent way too much money on Pokemon Go, you should be very proud of the $7 thing. I'll leave it at that.
How much money have you spent in Pokemon Go?
Uh,
No, tell me. Can
Do you want me to do it, Britt?
like $800.
Oh my God. Brittany.
I know.
It's okay,
No,
it's
it's
okay,
not
it's
okay.
cool, it's cool, man. You're cool.
But she lost over 10 pounds playing Pokemon
Yeah,
Go.
the way I justified
Oh,
it,
that's
this
cool.
So,
that
like,
was my
it's like her
justification.
trainer cost, right?
I was like, it was like a year-long gym membership, but not.
Fair. Okay, listen, I would be down with that. I do, like my short Pokemon Go story is that I was addicted for a minute, but that I would play while riding my bike, which is dangerous. Don't do it at home, children, because I got cut off by somebody in a vehicle, just making a right-hand turn while I was in a bike lane. So he didn't see me, I didn't see him. I had to slam on my brake, but my front brake, because my other hand was too busy trying to collect whatever shit was around, and I flipped over my bike, broke my elbow.
Oh, shit.
Playing Pokemon Go, yes. So,
So you spent more money on Pokemon Go than I probably did.
Thank you. Ruined my summer.
I feel better. I feel better now. Thank you.
You should.
well, lesson learned, kids. Don't do motion activities while also playing Pokemon Go.
Do not
Yeah.
Pokemon and drive, man. Just don't do it.
It's dangerous.
Sorry, Andrew, you were talking about Division, and then I interrupted it, and then we brought it to Clash Royale somehow. So
I was. I'm just going to keep it brief because I want to get to the third segment. And we have 2 games from GDC in particular that we need to talk about for sure. But basically, what I'm really loving about the Division Endgame is once you complete everything and go through all of the strongholds, Black Tusk, this new faction, comes in and takes over DC and kind of infiltrates and invades. And it changes the look of the map. It adds these new encounters on the map. And essentially you get to go do all of the story missions again in the same locations, but they're different. The dialogue is different. The way that it's scripted is different because now you're fighting Black Tusk, and because like the Grand Washington Hotel, which is the first mission you do. Now the Black Tusk has invaded and you have to go like take it back from the Black Tusk. And part of me is conflicted about like, am I annoyed that I have to go and do all these missions again? Or is it cool that I get to go do them and they're a little bit different? And it's like endgame, and I've now reached like this next level, and I'm now like min-maxing my gear score, and like managing loot, even though I've maxed out all of my inventory upgrades, is becoming a real problem because I'm getting only high-end drops for the most part, and they were so scarce in the main part of the game that now I'm like, I can't delete any high-end drops, but you gotta, because like your inventory fills right up and you're chasing that gear score now. I really like how they made the game so much more rewarding for people who want to stick it out and who are looking forward to like World Tier 5 and the 8-player raids that are coming. And they clearly heard from their community, hey, we want to spend more time in this game, give us more to do, and boy, they have delivered. And so I'm really happy with everything that Massive has done. My biggest gripe is that the bugs are still very plentiful, and it's becoming like a little bit cumbersome, and I've had to like log out of the game. I've had to shut the game down. I've had to leave parties to fix bugs. We're talking items not appearing in my inventory, story quests not showing up as marked, people going in and out of the map, textures popping in and out. A lot of like quality of life things that I hope are going to be fixed in the upcoming patches. Massive has publicly made a commitment to patch and fix this game as much as humanly possible. And I know with open world multiplayer games that bugs are just a necessary part of life, but they're becoming more plentiful than I'm comfortable with. And I've had to log out to like refresh the game more times than I would prefer. So it's something that I need to make a knowledge of because this game is not perfect. And I was talking recently on Critical Reviews, in that episode, I think for his show is coming out soon, about how I just don't think this is Game of the Year potential. Or maybe I was talking about it on Games Daily. For that reason, because it just doesn't have that level of polish I would expect in a Game of the Year contender. That said, I am having a blast. Absolutely love it. It's so much fun. Love playing with the clan. We're doing great. Love doing the strongholds. Obviously, this game shines when you're playing with a full team. But even playing with 1 or 2 people, it's super fun. And even playing by myself, just running around in the open world, collecting shade tech points or clearing control points or what have you. Really just enjoying the game and loving my time with it. So I'll put a pin in it for now because Brittany and I got to see 2 really cool games from 505 at GDC. Let's start with Journey to the Savage Planet, because what a refreshing take on game design and really just such a fun, whimsical thing. So Brittany walked into this demo with me. She knew nothing about it at all. And I went because I know Alex Hutchinson, because he and I got to work together back on Assassin's Creed 3 when he was the lead of that team at Ubisoft, and also when he was working on Far Cry 4. So he has a really long pedigree in video games, including, I wrote down all of the other stuff that he did. Let's see here. It's because I only knew him during his Ubisoft days, but he's been making games. So he worked on Splinter Cell, he worked on Spore, he's worked on a ton of stuff. And so he splintered off from, pun intended, from Ubisoft and said, I want to do my own thing. And so he teamed up with, oh my gosh, I have his name written down, his partner's name.
What is the name? What is the name anyway? What is in a name?
Thanks, Brittany. I appreciate it. Reed Schneider. And they're the co-founders of this new studio. Typhoon Studios is the name. And they have this game coming out. So, Brittany, first impressions of Journey to the Savage Planet.
So games like this tend to lose me because they're generally... Like, I think of No Man's Sky, where each planet is randomly generated, and it just kind of has that feel of something that wasn't personally created. So going into this, I was like, oh, okay, I think I kind of have an idea of this. Let me guess. Like, you're dropped on this planet, and you have to go scan things and figure out what's going on. And for the most part, I think that's more or less the story. But this is a handcrafted world, and what I really appreciate about it is that you can just kind of tell there's that level of attention to detail that I feel like randomly what's the word I'm looking for? Randomly.
Procedurally generated.
Procedurally generated. Thank you, ladies. That just, it kind of lacks, but this doesn't have that. And I was immediately impressed by the charm of this game and how the words that he was using to describe it were upbeat and positive. And of course, like, those are great buzzwords, but then when he actually started playing it, it was like, oh my God. I walked into that room extremely hungover and kind of, whatever. I walked out super, like, happy and smiling. And I told Andrea, I'm like, that was a great mood booster, because it really does. It's just so fun and quirky, and 10 to 12 hours is what he's saying this game should take, releasing early 2020, and I'm all in. I'm so excited. There's these birds called puffer birds, and you can kick them, and when they have like one eye, I think, or maybe two eyes. I don't know. They're really weird looking.
She was hungover. She couldn't tell.
They kind of look like Angry Birds in shape, like they're really round.
Okay.
Yeah. And everything there is just so silly. And, there's an enemy that you have to sneak up on, and then you got to poke it in the eye, and it's funny. It's not like this game doesn't take itself seriously, but there's that level of polish there that you can enjoy it. I don't know. I was not expecting to love it as much as I did, because I thought my assumption was wrong about what I thought the kind of game it was. But as soon as we left, I'm like, cool, I'm in.
And just to give a little bit of context, so it's a first-person exploration action adventure. The words that Alex used to describe it were optimistic, upbeat, positive, exploration focused. It's an earnest comedy. So you play a human with an AI assistant. Like Brittany said, it's about 10 to 15 hours of exploration. And what he called it an aperitif type game, meaning it's not going to be a full price game. It's not designed to be like a 60, 70 hour experience. It's a bespoke experience, as Brittany was mentioning. The way that they designed this planet, ARY26, the planet that you're there to catalog, you're literally sent there to catalog its creatures, its threats, and to send data back. You work for Kindred Technologies, the fourth best interstellar agency. And that idea of being the fourth best, that comedy carries throughout all of the aspects of the game, which I thought was really fun. So when you die in the game, you get reprinted, and you can go and find where your body is. You can bury your old body, because they thought that was like morbidly funny. And so you're meant to be on an unexplored planet, but you quickly realize that somebody has been here, and so you have to figure out who is here, what are they doing here, what have they found, because it starts out as you just on this planet scanning things, cataloging, because it's your mission is to go find this planet, and then it turns into more than that. And it's just so fun, because what he said was, I had this quote written down from him about its handcrafted nature. He says, if you're going to spend time climbing a mountain to turn over a rock, you want something that was intentionally put there. They're calling it a semi-Metroidvania vibe, not quite an open world. He said it's more like an onion, where you kind of like peel back certain layers to reveal different sections of it, but it's not a sandbox. There is a little bit of combat, but it's not the focus of the game. It's more to like move the story forward. It's not meant to be a focal point. The exploration is the focal point. And they are going to try to incorporate a non-violent way to get through the game, because there was a lot of feedback that they've got during their playtesting to say, this world is funny, it's light, it's optimistic. I love just kind of tooling around in it. It would be great if I don't have to kill things, but right now you do have to kill things in the game.
You do.
So he called it a mishmash of elements of Metroid Prime, Subnautica, and Far Cry 4. So it's I love the art style. It does kind of remind me a little bit of a cross between those rare games of old from like the Nintendo 64 days and a little bit of No Man's Sky. But it's a little bit more whimsical than No Man's Sky. And obviously, like we mentioned, it's all bespoke, so you don't have that randomly generated element. And it was just such a surprise, because I went because, like I said, I know and like Alex a lot. I think he's a great guy, and I knew nothing about the game. And then I came away going, wow, like I'm like very taken aback by how they're leaning into exactly what they want to make. And that's the joy of being an indie developer, right? Is to say, hey, I want to make an exploration-focused game that's funny, first and foremost, that is bespoke, is not randomly generated, and that is short, because we want to make something that's approachable for a lot of gamers. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah. You sold me at aperitif.
Yeah. A woman after my own heart. So we don't have a release date. They just said early 2020. So right now it is coming, he said, to PS4, Xbox One, Epic Games Store, and he said they're in discussions for Switch. So maybe, question mark?
Hopefully.
But because we both were like, this would be a perfect Switch game. And he's like, well, you know, our folks at 505 are really fantastic partners. And, you know, we're in those discussions, but nothing to announce at this time. You know, typical PR answer. So, of course, as I mentioned, 505 is publishing. And then the other game we saw is the game that a lot of people are talking about this week, Control, from Remedy Entertainment. Of course, Remedy of Alan Wake fame. A lot of people have been wondering, you know, what's up with Control. And the first time I saw this game, I was like, what the heck is happening? I'm so confused. And I'm kind of left with more questions than I went in with. But we got a ton of information from the team over at Remedy Entertainment. We got to talk with Michael and Thomas, who were there at GDC, which was really great. And so Brittany and I both took a bunch of notes. And Brittany watched me do the gameplay. But Brittany, what do you think so far of what we've got to see from Control?
So far, so I just want to kind of talk about the story real quick, because I think that'll help us talk about. So here's the thing. You are Jesse. You are the director of the Federal Bureau of Control. And there's this thing called the Hiss. And I'm looking at my notes because there's no way in hell I could remember all this. It's a hostile supernatural force capable of possessing and manipulating living beings and objects to its will. So it invades this thing called the Oldest House, and it invades the old director. So now you are Jesse and you are the new director. So now this thing called the Oldest House is this building that was located in New York City, and the Federal Bureau of Control found it. So from the outside, it looks like a normal building, but on the inside, it's considered a place of power, which means it's an ever-shifting supernatural space, and the entirety of the game takes place within this. So you're probably thinking, what the hell does all of that mean? So because like for me, you know, like the game, like watching Andrea play, like I was like, oh, that looks fun. You know, she's throwing shit around, she's floating in the air, she's levitating. That's cool. But to me, what draws me to a game is the story. And so that's why I was like, okay, what the hell is this? I mean, I like Quantum Break a lot, and that was their last big thing. But so, yeah. So
you got in there and you started throwing shit around.
Yeah, so because it's all sort of confusing. So the whole game takes place in the oldest building. And there are main missions that you'll do, and then there are side missions. And now what's interesting about this is that you can just keep exploring within these rooms, and you're going to find objects in there that are going to alert you to a side mission. And that side mission isn't going to tell you it's not going to hold your hand. It's going to say, hey, I heard that in this area this thing happened, and then you have to go on your own and read the notes and then go investigate. There's no beacons, there's no, you know, like, go here, flashing mark, or anything like that. So it's different in that regard, because it's kind of hard to wrap your head around the fact that the entirety of this game takes place in a single building, but inside the building are an infinite number of different rooms and sections. So yeah, that's kind of like the foundation of what this game is. And then Andrea actually got to play it. And it looked fun.
Yeah, so Britt was taking a bunch of notes while I was doing hands-on during our demo, and I kind of jotted down some notes as well. It's like, so you work your way through a level fighting corrupted personnel. So there's a lot of combat in this game, and you can levitate, you can ground, slam, launch, throw rocks. So there's a combination between having these supernatural powers that are tied to a stamina bar and then having a gun. And so you have gunplay and you have these powers that you're kind of interchanging. So I asked the team, you know, like, is there an emphasis? Should I be using the gun or the powers more than the other? Are they designed to be used interchangeably or equally? And they were like, well, that's a good question. They were like, we really leave it up to people's play style to decide like which one they prefer to use. And the powers are super cool because you could just be running through the world. So it's third person. So you're over the shoulder of Jesse, the director. And so at any moment you can hit the levitate button and you just literally fly into the air. It's really wild. So you're like running around shooting people. You can fly. And then in the air you have this like hover mode where you can pick up objects in the world. You can pick up a chair, like levitate it and then throw it at an enemy. You can pick up a rock and throw it. When you're on the ground, you can build a shield by pulling rock out of the concrete. So you essentially crumble the concrete in front of you and build like a shield in front of you to block incoming fire. And then you can throw the rocks at the enemies when you're done blocking as a weapon. And so the combat feels really cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm kind of trying to figure out like, what's happening here? Like, what's it all for? Like, what am I doing? And that supernatural element that Remedy is known for in all of their games is really ever present in everything here. So they have a intense upgrade system. I wouldn't call it a skill tree, so to speak, more of like a character mod system. So they have things that affect your stamina and your health. You will find things throughout the world called objects of power that will grant Jesse new abilities. Then you'll enter this thing called the astral plane, which leads into the supernatural elements. It's a separate dimension where sometimes when you're in the astral plane, you'll fight a large-scale boss fight, or you can go there to learn new abilities. Destruction is a really big part of the game, and so there's a lot of destructible pieces of the environment. As I mentioned, you can destroy the floor and use it as a shield. All of the objects that you can pick up and throw, like desks, chairs, things you would find in an office, you can pick them up and use them as weapons. It's wild.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of things that I still like want to know about this game.
I kind of think of it as, like lab rats, they have those little mazes down. Think of that, like that's probably the best way to describe what this map is like, because the objects of power that Andrea was talking about, not all of them are required to play the game, to finish the game. So the one that she got, I think it was a mind manipulator. You were able to turn enemies into allies.
Yes.
And that was something
That's
that the developers obviously placed us there, but if you're actually playing without the aid of developers, it's something that you would find on your own while exploring. So there's a lot of exploration, like I said earlier, finding those notes and those audio clips that give you hints about where you might be able to find these sorts of things. So it sounds like a game that's not really going to hold your hand a lot and tell you what you need to do and how you need to do it. So if that sounds appealing to you, there you go.
It does, but I also might have like my phone nearby and be searching for some kind of walkthrough that someone's already done.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm not above that.
Me neither.
Okay.
We're all about baby-ass baby mode here at What's Good Games. I wrote in my notes, the movement and abilities feel very Matrix-esque. Like you're kind of like your Neo. Because like it felt like when you're in the world, you just can randomly hover. You can pull things out of the air and throw things. And then you've got your gun. And that's why I said it felt Matrix-esque. That's hard to say with words.
That's a hard one.
Alliteration, yeah.
Because it felt that way, that you could just manipulate time and space in a very like untraditional sense. And so I asked them, I was like, okay, there's obviously a lot of crazy supernatural things happening here. Like, how do you ground this in reality and know like what's real and what's not? And a lot of what they talked about with the visual identity, the gameplay, and like kind of the world of Control is that they said at the very core of it all, it's still grounded in gravity. And that we needed to like hold on to some kind of focal point to make sure that we weren't just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this supernatural world and having there be no rules to follow. So I appreciated that they used gravity as a grounding element. They also talk about transformation within the visual identity of the world, corruption, evolution, entropy, and estrangement were kind of like their core pillars. We talk about these corrupted things within the world that you as the bureau head are trying to figure out. He said it was like Michael said it was like a cancer in the human body that you have to go and like kind of like find and sweep out. And so it's really kind of infused into a lot more things than you would think. So it's, I mean, the whole vibe of it felt really cool. And the skill tree system, again, more of a perk system than a skill tree system. Definitely allows you to kind of play the way you want to play. But overall, like, the vibe of it's spooky and weird and crazy, but also, like, really cool. I'm intrigued. I need to know more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so different than I think. It's hard to explain, right? I think we're doing a decent job at explaining what it is, but it's not like you can say, oh, it's like Zelda, or it's like Red Dead Redemption, or it's like Assassin's. You can't do that with this game, and I think that's cool. I appreciate them doing weird, wonky things.
For sure, we need more of this and applaud more of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to just end by saying the release date was announced as August 27th. So if you are excited about it, it's coming in late summer, and we'll probably get a chance to see it, hopefully again before the release date, and we will bring you an update then. I'm going to have to probably cut this segment short, even though I definitely would love to hear about Marissa's adventures in Tetris 99.
Don't worry about it. It's just Tetris 99. I'm getting bullied, yo.
Because I want to hear about what you're working on. And so we're going to take a quick break here.
Sure.
And when we come back, Marissa's going to tell us about the studio that she's in right now, where you can find her, and all the cool projects that she's hosting. Stick with us. We'll see you in a minute. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the final segment of the What's Good Games podcast with special guest Marissa Roberto. And we have to make a short disclaimer. Marissa's camera battery might die at some point during the segment.
We're going to roll the dice.
Yeah, we're going to roll the dice. So we're like, let's just do it and go. So if at some point she just disappears, that's why. And Brittany and I will end the show.
I'll pretend to be Marissa.
Just know that I care about y'all so much. And also, like, I just love that we're rolling dice because, Andrea, I feel like you also kind of got me addicted to gambling.
Oh, you're blaming me for that.
Yeah, full on.
Okay.
Blackjack addiction because of Andrea, and like now still I'm playing Red Dead for the blackjack.
For the blackjack?
Oh
nice.
God, yeah. So I'm not gambling my own money.
Plan another trip to Old Vegas. Let's
Hell
go.
yes.
You know Brittany's in.
Oh, yeah, I
God,
love Vegas.
Let's do it. I made the mistake of going
they
to
have
Old
a
Vegas
zip
last
line
time.
in downtown Vegas now. They've
Okay, I didn't know
redone
that.
all this stuff down on Fremont. It's like it's a fun little place down there now.
All right, made the mistake of dressing up and going to Old Vegas. That was wrong of me.
Oh,
Definitely should not have done that.
Old Vegas is very much like a jeans and t-shirt kind of vibe.
Yep, forgot from the first time we went. Went down again,
But
met my
you looked-
husband, and I was just like super annoyed because I was just standing on the corner like in my short skirt. And like when you're in regular Vegas, that's not a thing.
That's
Everybody's dressed that way.
expected, yeah.
Yeah. So, but when you're in Old Vegas dressed that way, you're getting some hollers and some looks, and you just feel very uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
it brought my mood way down, and I could not enjoy Old Vegas the way we
Aw,
had once.
bummer.
So it's okay. I was just being a brat. But no, next time we will hit all of that. My God, yeah. Next, whatever Vegas adventure might take place. I don't know.
Well, I think we just have to plan something.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Deal.
Well, we will connect. We will connect and plan a thing, and then we'll vlog it for everybody listening. All right.
fun.
So before we get into our feature segment for this week, I would like to thank Stitch Fix for sponsoring this part of the show. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that finds and delivers clothes, shoes, and accessories to fit your body, budget, and your lifestyle. Go to stitchfix.com/what's good and tell them your sizes, what styles you like, and how much you want to spend on each item. You'll be paired with your very own personal stylist who will handpick items to send right to your door. Then you try them on, pay only for what you love, and return the rest. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free. There's no subscription required, and you can sign up to receive scheduled shipments or get your fix whenever you want. Stitch Fix's styling fee is only $20, and it's applied towards anything you keep from your shipment. If you guys get started now at stitchfix.com/what's good, you'll get an extra 25% off when you keep all of the items in your box. That's stitchfix.com/what's good to get started today. One more time, stitchfix.com/what's good. And I just got a new box, and I have been searching for the perfect pair of white denim for literally years. And it finally
denim.
arrived, and I'm
Yes.
bringing it to PAX, and I'm bringing it to
Yes.
Florida after PAX. I'm so excited about it. I love Stitch Fix so much. And
Oh my
Brittany,
Are they ripped? What are they?
no, so they are not distressed. So they have
Okay.
they're kind of like high waters, so it's like just like an inch or two above the ankle. But there's just something about the fabric and the cut that finally fits perfectly. I think the brand is Pistola, and what I love about pants I get from Stitch Fix, and I'm wearing a pair of my Stitch Fix pants right now, I'm wearing my Madewell jeans, is that they introduce me to brands that I probably would never pick out in a department store, but then they send them to me, and I'm like, oh, these are super comfy and nice, and then I put them on, and I'm like, oh, so this is what a good pair of pants feels like. This is what I've been missing out on. Because, so many times when you see stuff on the rack, you can't have the vision for what it's going to look like on a person. And that's what I love about the stuff that I get from Stitch Fix. And Brittany, you've got a bunch of pieces from them too.
Oh, hell yeah. So I'm always a jean and t-shirt kind of girl. Like, the low cut jeans and like a video game t-shirt. That's my thing. But Stitch Fix has introduced me to high waist jeans, to some really cute heels, to some really cute shirts and jackets. I wear them. I get compliments. I'm like, yeah, I did not do any of this, but thank you for saying you like my style. No, but it's been really great, and it's really opened my eyes up to styles of clothes that I never thought I would like on me.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, actually, I can rock this, and it's been really fun. So every time I get a new box in, it's literally like a little mini Christmas. I get so excited. It's the first thing I do. I ignore my husband. I ignore my dog. And I go straight for the Stitch Fix dog. I just said Stitch Fix dog. Oh, yeah, important
We
things.
knew what
They're
you
new
meant.
ones.
I mean, you are in your dressing room just like caressing this box, being like, it's okay,
Yeah.
girl. I love
Do
you.
you want a treat?
Do you want
I mean, if Stitch Fix wants to start sending dogs, that's fine too. I will take them.
Well, that seems crazy.
Or at least dog clothes.
There.
They do
There you go.
kids' clothes, I think. Anyway, again, we love Stitch Fix. Marissa,
Yes.
you have been a fantastic guest all show because you are always on point and know your stuff, and that's why I love hanging around you. And I want
sweet.
people to know how great you are. So we have been mentioning that you are in a studio, and you guys
Yeah.
can't see the whole photo because of how I have it cropped to fit
Oh,
into our
yeah, yeah.
overlay here. But where are you at? What's going on there?
Okay, so I am in my studio for Squad. So it's a daily show, Monday to Friday on Twitch. It's just twitch.tv/Squad State. And it's mostly esports. We cover some gaming as well. Our first show that we air, so it's about an hour, I would say around 8 p.m. Eastern it airs, where Brody and I, my co-host, just argue. Like we basically just tell each other that we're stupid and we need to shut up. And we have a mute button, so there are topics that we take on. So if it's gaming or esports, one of us reads the topic, and then we both kind of converse about it. And if one of us gets out of line, well, we have one mute per episode that we can inflict on the other person. I mostly just like telling him to shut up, so I don't like muting him. But because when you mute, he's already automatically shut up. So he gets muted. We talk about whatever it is we talk about. So many things to argue about. So many things going on in the esports world and the gaming world that there's just an infinite amount of spicy topics. So it's just like a daily Monday to Friday thing. So I get here and film that in the mornings, kind of around 11. Before that, I'm at TSN, which is ESPN's sister station here in Canada, where I shoot a show called Digital Sports Center, and that is on Instagram. So TSN's Instagram, on their stories, it's like 3 minutes. I'm just giving you what you need to know about sports that just happened the night before, or just like memey things that might have happened in the sports world, or like athletes posting interesting things to their Instagrams. Just like really fun, like bite-sized way to get into sports. If you've never gone into sports before, for the first time, I'm having women reaching out to me saying thank you for something, which is so strange to me because I haven't had that audience. Like my Instagram following is basically 90% male. Like my demographic is 90-10, which has always kind of plagued me in a way. Like I've always just wanted to be cool with women, you know, even though we're living in these very male-dominated spaces. So for women to reach out and say that, like, thank you for this show, this sports show, because they're able to have conversations about sports with their husbands now. Like they pull names out of nowhere, just like impressing their husbands that they know what they're talking about. It's just kind of exciting to know that I'm able to use this platform to bring women into sports that had never gotten into them before. But it's also just like a great way to get your bite size. 3 minutes, sports, get in your face. While you're on the toilet or whatever, like it's an Instagram story,
Perfect.
you know, just like get it in ya. Yeah, so that's like a daily, so that airs every day at 3 Eastern, and they delete the story the next morning. So you kind of just have to get it in that day because it's only fresh in that moment. Yeah, so it's basically just like sports. I live a sports and esports gaming life daily, Monday to Friday, and then sometimes I'll host like esports events on the weekends or do Xbox sessions, or I do some stuff with Xbox Canada here as well. So I'm just trying to keep busy. Just trying to be out there, you know, hustling, living the good
Girl,
life.
I know. Listen,
in
they
the video
call me
games.
the busiest lady in the business, but I feel like you may have overtaken me.
That's not true.
And
That's
like,
not true.
props to you. Hell yeah, girl.
That's not true. I think we're just all, we all feel very lucky to get to do the things that we do and talk about the things that we talk about, because these were our hobbies. Like when I went to journalism school, I knew that I wasn't going to be happy covering anything like news, because I just felt like it was so depressing to me every day. Like I wanted to live in something that I knew I would love to wake up the next day and be excited to talk about. So I always said I wanted to cover baseball or video games, and I would be happy doing either of those things. And I've somehow been able to now manage doing sports and esports and video games daily, which is great too, because we get to, like, I just kind of get to live in these worlds, right? That's all I really wanted. Like, we always want to kind of please our younger selves. So like being able to, if I could, tell my younger self now that no, you can actually talk about video games and get paid for it, like that would have blown my tiny mind. It's so exciting that we get to do this and just have a platform to do these things. So I just feel blessed and try to be grateful for these things that we have every day, because you never know, like they can get taken away from you. I was really sad. I was really bummed out when EP got canceled off of Canadian television here, and I didn't know, what was next for me. And yes, it's just like you kind of had baby burn, like you just weren't sure if like this is the right fit for you. Maybe you can't make money in this world anymore, but there always is that platform. There's a way for you to find the thing that you love to do. And I'm just so happy that we kind of all have figured that out for ourselves.
I mean,
amen.
Yeah, you are crushing it, and I'm so happy to see all the stuff that you're doing, because I remember you and I talking after Electric Playground was going away, and kind of being like, what's the next thing? What am I going to do? And it's that forever grind of somebody who works in the media space. It's crazy, like listening to you talk about your journalism degree story, and mine is like literally identical. Like I went to journalism school and was like, I went to journalism school going, I want to be Lisa Ling, and I came out going, Lisa Ling is way too badass for me. I can't do that job. It's too hard. It's too sad. I need fluff news. Give me the red carpet. Give me Hollywood. Give me video games. And I just wanted to do something that brought joy to people's lives, and I'm so glad that you're doing that for women in the sports space, because a lot of people don't know the extent of your incredible baseball fandom.
Oh, I'm heavy into it. I am heavy into it. So much so that that's the thing too, is that like, I don't even know at this point how to tweet anymore, because I don't even know if anybody following me wants to hear about baseball, or if they want to hear about games, or if they want to hear about sports. Like, I don't even know. So I'm just like tweeting about cookies. Like, I'm not, I have no clue how to please people. So at this point, I'm just like, hey, it's baseball season. Just remember, everybody, you're going to get annoyed with me. So you just want to go into your little options on Twitter and just mute baseball or like MLB or Blue Jays. Just like, because it can be pretty annoying, right? If you don't care about baseball in any way. And I just learned that the average age of a viewer watching baseball now is like 57 years old, like something crazy.
That's so old.
I know. So we're I know.
I mean, it's not old.
Like
Everybody
though.
listening that's 57, that's not old. Oh, actually, I'm
no,
sorry.
No, it's not. It's not old. It's just
Good
odd
save, Andrea.
It's odd to hear, because it's just kind of like young people now are only into things that will please them quick, right? You need something fast, something that they can still, I guess, be on their phones and pay attention to. I feel like that's baseball, but they just can't. I don't know. It kind of makes me sad. Like, I don't want baseball to go away. I don't want baseball to die out. So I'm kind of holding on to this old-timey sport. It's a good old-fashioned American sport that I love so much. But Andrea, you love sports too. You're all about that football life, girl.
Yeah, no, Brittany is too. We kind of go toe to toe, because she's a Seahawks fan, and we're division rivals with my Minnesota Vikings. And we're in the hiatus period now, taking a little lull from football, which is nice. We can focus on some other things. But I enjoy sports. I always grew up in a household that watched a lot of sports. What I love about sports, particularly in America, is that there's such a sense of camaraderie in them, and that's what I love about it. And they're just really fun. I mean, Britt, like, how did you get into football?
Oh man, yeah, same sort of thing. My entire family I always grew up watching the Seahawks, watching the Mariners, watching the Sonics. Rip in peace. I know, it makes me sad. Yeah, so I mean, it's always been a part of my life and something I've always enjoyed. I love going to the games and whatnot, but it sounds like my camera's frozen. It's back.
Okay,
Never mind.
Yeah.
It's
Never
back.
mind, I'm back.
Oh wait,
But yeah,
I
so-
gotta just keep talking. I'm gonna fix it in OBS. Just keep going though.
Oh boy. Okay, but Marissa, so baseball, is that your sport of choice, or do you have others that you love as much?
It's always been my sport of choice, but now that I've done more of these sports centers every single day, like for example, I hadn't gotten into basketball as much. Like, I knew I know the teams, I know the players, like I know the coaches, but I don't watch that much of it because it had never interested me. But now that I'm living in their drama, and there is so much of it,
Oh yeah.
I cannot help but feel intrigued and compelled to watch more of it now. It's just so funny how all of that works, right? Like we just need a personality, or we need just one player or one coach, one manager to like kind of entice us in some way, or we learn their story and then we can jump in. And I feel like that's the same way, it's the same thing happened to me with baseball. It's like I started serving, I was a cocktail waitress at the Rogers Center here in like the suites, the luxury suites basically. So all I did was sit there for 9 innings. If somebody wanted a beer, I'd get them a beer, but for the most part, I would just be there. So I might as well get to know these players and learn everything about them and just get excited about certain players coming to the mound and their backstories and how they interact with each other, and all of that is just so much fun to take in. Like it's so much fun to discover and enjoy. And also like talking to people about these sports they love and why they love them so much and what got them into them. And a lot of it is like nostalgia based. A lot of it is like how they related to their fathers or their mothers even. So sports is just like this, especially for Americans, I feel like it's very like deeply ingrained, especially in childhood. Like yeah, I didn't have that here with my family, but I got it when I moved to Toronto and I just started working basically slang and drinks around sports, and that's how I got into it.
That's awesome.
Gotta slang them drinks, yeah?
Yeah, I loved slang and drinks back in the day. It was a rip-roaring good time. So what's next for you? Like you're doing, obviously your plate is full at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you have anything on the horizon that you're looking forward to, whether it be work related or maybe like family life? Obviously you got married recently.
I did,
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, yeah.
But like, what do you, like, what's next for Marissa?
I have no idea. I feel like everything is kind of just happening, and I'm just trying to enjoy the moment. We're not planning. I don't know. I feel like I guess I'm getting older, so I should think about those things, and I guess we should plan if we're gonna have a family or not. I just don't really. I feel like I really like living in the bubble that is right now, and then just enjoying every moment that I have now in these really cool jobs that I have. But I'm always down to, like, I never say no to an opportunity that sounds so cool, like, which is why I started doing these Xbox sessions, because Xbox US started reaching out to like just meet cool people and talk about things that I love. Like that is so exciting to me. And even just meeting e-athletes or like guys who play esports, like Andrea, I know you lived that life too for a while, the esports world, and these boys are just like, boys and girls, they're just all over Twitter too, and they air out all their dirty laundry. There's no media training at all. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
All of it. So I just love meeting them and talking to them and getting their personalities too. I just feel like this world has so many incredible things to offer. And the fact that we get to live in this space, talking to other people that live and are deeply ingrained in this world, it's so exciting. And especially when they started airing Overwatch on ABC recently, I don't know if you guys saw this, but people were not happy. People not in the gaming space were very upset. So just to see that they're not living in this space and to kind of open their eyes to it, it's going to be a fun ride. I feel like where esports is going, it's going to be an interesting experience to see how the people on the outside of this world view it. And maybe we can bring them on
talk
board.
about that. So I think it's fascinating watching this experiment, because I feel like I'm the only one saying, listen, I'm not hating on esports. Esports has found its audience. There are millions of people around the globe that love it, but people in esports keep trying to cram it into a mainstream audience, and I just feel like it's never going to work for a variety of reasons. And you are much closer to it than I ever was. Like, what do you think about it?
I think that it's going to be hard for the average person to understand why this makes sense. And I also think that I don't think that Overwatch is the game to do it, because it's just such a hard game to comprehend if you've never played it. Even just watching it competitively, there's so much going on that I understand the reservations that people are having seeing it on their TV for the first time. Like, what the frig is happening? Like, even trying to watch League of Legends or Dota for the first time, like, if you've never played these games, there's no friggin' way they're gonna be able to get into this. You've got to get into a game like Rocket League, or anything that has a very basic premise.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, Fortnite, yes. Okay, for the kids, definitely. And Fortnite is a great way for parents to start understanding what is happening in the esports world because of all these different tournaments they're putting on now too. And it's like their kids' window into gaming as well. So many kids now are just playing games for the first time because of Fortnite, because their friends are playing Fortnite. Like, if this is the gateway drug in, like, cool, I'm all for it. I just don't know what because all these different sports teams and owners now are getting involved as well because they see it as a big cash grab, right? So it's just going to be a rocky road here for a bit, realizing that a lot of investors are coming in, just kind of tossing money everywhere, and we just need to wait for the bubble. The bubble needs to pop at some point so we can see where the dust settles. Like, I don't think it's going to be Overwatch, even though it has a massive following. I love that. I'm not sure how that's going to play on TV. It just needs to be something.
It's way too fast-paced.
It's so fast.
I've played Overwatch, and I can't watch professional Overwatch. It's like there's so much happening on screen with like all the colors and the abilities and everything, and the switching back and forth. I'm like, it's dizzying. Like a mainstream audience, I'm not surprised people revolted against it.
No, neither am I.
I like your suggestion of Rocket League, though. That makes more sense. Something that's rooted in a sport people already kind of sort of understand. I mean, I think
they'll see the soccer ball and go, I know that thing.
Yeah,
exactly. It's very, very simple premise, and the boys that play it, there's one girl, Karma, she's really cool too, but they all have amazing personalities too, and the way that Psyonix is kind of building that scene is interesting. Like, they very much have a stronghold on it, like they are controlling everything about it, which is, I feel like, is good. It could be a little bad too, because you want an outsider's perspective in there as well, but you still want publisher control over this game. I just don't know how. I really want these personalities too. Like, my co-host Brody is a caster for RLCS, so for their league as well. Such a great personality, so funny, so charismatic, and I would love for a sports world to kind of get to know these esports personalities too, because they have like sports training. Like, they're very good at being, commentators and color analysts, and to have a broadcast where people can actually tune in, get to know the analysts, get to know the players, and just kind of like watch a little game of carb soccer ball. Whatevs. Easy enough to get into. It just needs to be something like that. I feel like the NBA 2K League is there too, because you understand what's going on with that, but it's a very niche audience. So you want like some kind of broad audience that brings in the money. You also need to have cities attached to it, which is why Overwatch League is so successful, because that's the only way it'll shine. Now, Call of Duty just announced something that they might be doing with investors having to buy in and having cities attached to it, because they're seeing the money that Overwatch League is bringing in. So that might be something, although it's hard to sell a shooter like that, a very realistic style shooter on a cable network. So I don't know, there's got to be a lot of shuffling around, should we say.
Maybe take Call of Duty and give them all squirt guns.
Yeah. Yeah. Put like some kind
tell
of
that to the pro players.
Or the Nerf guns, right?
Oh
Little
my
darts.
Gosh.
But the Call of Duty players, man, if you want to follow any scene right now, it has to be like fighting game scene, FGC, or Call of Duty. Call of Duty, oh my God, these boys are airing all of their dirty laundry on Twitter. Like, it is drams central. It's very entertaining.
Job security too, right?
Oh yeah. I know.
I feel like esports players in general, unfortunately, have an air of immaturity to them, which doesn't bode well for a public-facing thing to put towards the masses about video game culture at large.
Okay.
I'm like, I always have to go back to my parents and be like, trust me, this thing that you saw does not represent and is not indicative of the games industry at large.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you're going to have people who are acting a fool on social media, no matter which industry you're in. Just look at like film, music, what have you. There's always people doing crazy stuff online.
For sure, but are those the personalities that you attach yourself to? Like, will those personalities bring more people in or deter them? Like, that's the question. So these kids, honestly, like, yeah, you could see them as immature, and I totally understand that, because sometimes they are, and they're just being giant babies on their Twitter, and that's just exactly what's happening.
They are kind of giant babies, really, if you think
right,
about
because
it.
because think of getting signed to an org at a very young age, getting money every week to play video games, like, and you're just with your bros, and there's just like dudes playing games together. Like, there's no how is there any chance for you to grow really as a man outside of that, because you're living in this space and getting paid for it, so you're being rewarded for the attitude that you've had this whole time.
I just find it such a striking difference between the way young esports players are and the way young professional players are when it comes to traditional sports, whether it be young NFL draft players, NBA, MLB, what have you, whatever professional sports organization it is. It's just such a marked difference. And I know, like, there's a lot of restrictions on, or not necessarily restrictions, but preferences for players going into professional sports organizations versus going into esports, because a lot of esports players will drop out of school and not be incentivized to stay in school, whereas it's different with traditional sports. There's a lot of incentive to spend all 4 years in school playing for a college football team and then entering into the NFL draft versus dropping out, right? And so I just find the dichotomy very fascinating to watch. I'm not saying it's like bad one way or the other. Clearly, these are all young men for the most part, with the exception of some female players here and there. But watching it play out and how the players conduct themselves is like a thought experiment in human culture, to say the least.
It is, yeah. I mean, there's so many different now colleges offering esports programs, which is very cool. Excited to see that, just so they can get some kind of education. But if you think about like sport, like actual athletes going to play at their whatever, school, they don't really focus on, like, what are they really focused on? They're focused on playing the game to, whatever police scholarship, whatever scholarship they had. So, like, are they maturing as humans? Like, when does the maturity come in? Does it come in when they get the media training? Is it that they need media training?
Oh,
there she
goes.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That,
No,
We were so
such a
close
good
to the
conversation.
end. Okay, well, let me try to pull up a quick two-shot with you, Brittany. Will you message her and let her know? I was just about to say, you know what? We've run out of time. We almost made it to the end for her camera to not break down. But
So
a
funny.
big thank you to Marissa for making the time to come on the show. She is such a wonderful person. If you guys want to follow her and find her on the internet, we've had her Twitter handle on the video at youtube.com/what'sgoodgames. Oh, whatever you're texting is coming up on your Skype screen.
Oh no.
So don't message anything else. It said we almost made it. So we'll see what she says back. At Marissa Roberto on Twitter, as she mentioned, she is doing her show at twitch.tv/squad chat. No, squad something.
State.
I'm messing it up. I will put the links into the description down below, and both on podcast format. So please do follow her. She's such a lovely person and a wonderful human being. And if you're into baseball, she's a big Blue Jays fan, as you might have caught from her. We, of course, will be live at PAX this weekend. If you're listening to this and you're in the Boston area, please come to the meet and greet Saturday the 30th from 2 to 4 p.m. at King's Entertainment in Seaport. And cross your fingers that all goes well with our recording of the panel at PAX. And we'll touch base with you guys next week when we're back on the show. We love you all. Have a fantastic weekend. Goodbye.